Still waiting for tracking. The final day of the Formula Kite European Championships here in Menor, Spain, and we can't wait to bring you the action on this final day. We've got the top 10 men and the top 10 women, all of whom can still win the championship. We'll explain more in a moment. Hi, my name's Andy Rice, and joining me are two great kite experts, Jimmy Craythorne from Great Britain and Tony Vodicek from Slovenia. Tony being the 2022 world champion, and here checking in on the action. Great to have you joining us again, Tony.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's gonna be a hectic day. I can't wait for some great races, and yeah, let's have fun.
Jimmy, how much breeze, what kind of kite selection do you think we'll see today? It seems windy out there.
Yeah, it is windy. Throw it back to last year's European final day for sure. It's 18 to 20 knots out there. I think the wind is increasing, so I think we're going to see some small kites out there today.
I'm hearing talk of the 11 square meters, so that's one of the smaller ones in the range. We don't often see them go smaller than that, so it seems like they are expecting fast and furious. So we've had 5 days of competition so far, and we had the final day of Gold Fleet racing yesterday. Let's just remind ourselves of what happened yesterday. On day 5 of the championship, Max Mader and Lauriane Nolot took a step closer to winning back the titles they won 2 years ago. The men's and women's Formula Kite world champions put on a masterclass on a day of moderate breeze on the flat water of Mar Menor. 4 back-to-back races would bring Gold Fleet to a conclusion, with the riders battling to break into the final 10 for Sunday's medal series. Mader, the 17-year-old from Singapore, had proven unstoppable on the previous day. Could he get yet another clean sweep? A perfect 4 from 4? Well, yes he could, was the emphatic answer. In 2 of the races, Valentin Bontes from Austria pushed Mader hard. In another, it was Great Britain's Conor Bainbridge who was Mader's closest threat. And in the last race of a breezy afternoon, it was Poland's Max Sikowski who followed the world champion across the finish line. In the women, Lauriane Nolot was almost as dominant, winning the first 3 heats, but narrowly losing out in a last race battle with fellow French rider Poema Newland. The other French rider, Jessie Campman, had been strong all afternoon, but a slip-up in the final race meant she fell to 3rd overall. This means that Nolot and Newland go straight through to the 4-rider final of the women's medal series. In the men, Max Mader is joined by France's Axel Mazella, who finished a close run second at the end of Gold Fleet racing. Join us for the live stream of the medal series, when we will find out who exactly is going to win those medals in Mar Menor. So we love this medal series because, unlike most sailboat races where, for example, Lauriane Nolot and particularly Max Mader would have wrapped up this event with a race to spare, they've still got some racing to do. And we've got 4 riders, 2 men, 2 women, as I just explained on that highlights, that have already gone through to the final. We've got 4 board races all day, both in the semi-finals and the finals. And in the case of the women, well, we've got 2 French women already through, Lauriane Nolot and Poema Newland. And in the men, well, there's another Frenchman, Axel Mazella, who's going to be joining Max Mader. Let's just explain a little bit more about this format and see how we get the other riders into the final. What do they have to do? Let's have a look. So there's our 10, and on the right, the finals. Those are the guys that have already gone through, and then the rest from 3rd down to 10th get split out into semi-final A and semi-final B, and whoever wins out of those semi-finals will go through to join in the finals. But you see those green dots, they're critical, because Lauriane Nolot and Max Mader, for their reward for winning in Gold Fleet, it means they take 2 race wins through to the final. That means that they only need to win 1 race today and they become the champions. In the case of the second place qualifiers through from Gold Fleet, that's Axel Mazella and Poema Newland. They have 1 race win. They need to win 2 races in the final. As for the qualifiers who break through from the semi-finals, they have no race wins. They're going to have to win 3. So they do have a mountain to climb, but we've seen this happen before. And if you've grasped what I've just said about the different race wins, it's the same format that applies in the semi-finals. So, for example, we're going to be watching women's semi-final A first off, and Jessie Campman, the French rider who's going to be wearing the red bib, is going to be on 2 race wins. So Jessie will only need to win 1 race in her semi-final to break through into the finals. In the case of Lily Young, wearing the green, that British rider will need to win 2. And then our other 2 semi-finalists in semi-final A, Gal Zuckerman from Israel and Maggie Ellen Pescetto from Italy, they're on no race wins, so they're going to have to sell their socks off to break through into the final. So I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense yet, it will do by the end of the afternoon. And what we love about this, Jimmy, is that it gives everyone in the top 10 a chance of winning this championship.
That is so true. We have seen it happen before. The finals day is the most exciting day in kite foiling, and everyone has a shot. It's just an awesome format.
Tony, how much of an advantage is it to go through with those race wins on the board, whether it's 2 for the leaders or 1 for the second places?
Well, for sure it's hard with a lot of pressure going in, already knowing that had it been the old format, you could have already won. In the case of Max and probably Lorion as well. Coming in at it, it gives a chance to everybody, and that's, I think, the most interesting point for viewers now, because meaning you can be in 10th place and still make it out to be the champion of any event. It's an amazing thing, but those 2 bullets definitely give you some reassurance, reassurance of mind. But then again, today's a completely new format. It's a short track that changes everything. So it's like a completely different sport, and we got to be the best in both, because that's it.
Yeah, and yesterday in the Gold Fleet racing with 25 and a bigger course, we saw the port tack start was an option. I think surely today it's going to be even more of an option, the port tack start, because judging that ley line on the right-hand side of the course is going to be a little bit easier.
It's for sure much easier, because you're already much closer to the top mark, and just knowing to have only 4 riders on the start line can make it such a a little bit of a better start going port, not having to avoid or duck everybody else. And yeah, I'm thinking for today is start clean with nobody just in front of you, and get the lane lines. And just speed is not so important, so get those lane lines, guys, and nice drives and tacks.
So 2:20 to the start, and this is going to be women's semi-final A. Now, let's see if we can just show you who those 4 women are going to be. Hoping that I can bring you a graphic to show you. So here is our women's semi-final A, and Jessie Campman already on 2 race wins. Lily Young from Great Britain on 1, and then Israel's Gal Zuckerman and Italy's Maggie Pescetto with it all to do, because they're going to have to win 3 races to break out of this women's semi-final A and get into the final. So, Jimmy, we've seen that Jessie Campman, she probably will have been disappointed not to have made it straight through to the final. I mean, she sailed super well this week, but that has to make her the favourite to come through these semis.
I totally agree. She was so close. She was neck and neck with Poema right until that last race in terms of points. And Poema just pipped her to the post. But I think you're seeing what we've seen from Jessie this week. She definitely has the speed, and yeah, and I mean, anything could happen in this breeze. I know that she quite likes the strong wind, and we'll see what she has for us on that 11 metre. It was the 11 metre day earlier in the week that she got those 2 bullets from Lorian. So yeah, we'll see what she has.
You were part of that British squad with Lily Young, and we also know that Lily, who got a bronze at the World Championships last year in The Hague, is also very good in the breeze, isn't she?
Oh, 100%. And again, last Euros, I think Lily was so close to getting a top 3 in that finals, and I know she'll be hungry for more this event. She's a very strong rider. She's been super consistent this week, and yeah, I think she will be definitely putting on some good racing for us as well.
Gal Zuckerman, she's done all she needs to do to qualify to go to the Olympics for Israel. She's in this, so she can go in knowing that she is pretty much certain to be going to the games for Israel. And Maggie Pescetto from Italy, also very likely to be selected now based on her performance. Maggie also loves the breeze. So we've got 3 coming in on starboard. Let's see where the other one is coming from. Are we going to have a port tack starter? That looks like someone is lining up for the port tack start behind the other 3. And off they go. We'll find out if it's a clear start. And I really like that port tack start, whoever that is, Tony.
So we've got Jessie Campman and Lily Young at the top of our screens there. And that looks like...
pretty sure that's Gal.
Gal Zuckerman going out the far side on the right,
Yeah,
we think.
I think that's her. I think she's got it. She got that from Benoit.
Of course, yeah. Benoit, her boyfriend, Benoit Gomez, who loves the port tack start as well.
And we can see Maggie, Italy's Maggie Pichetto going in for the tack there. And she's going to duck the girls.
Oh, quite a big giveaway there, wasn't it?
As well, and all the girls sending it on port right now. We'll see how Gal Zuckerman comes in.
Okay. So Gal Zuckerman, she was the port tack starter. We'll have to see how she does on the far side. And meanwhile, Jessie Campman looking the best of the 3 that started on starboard. They've all tacked onto ports. Jessie Campman looking really fast, doing about 24, 25 knots upwind. Lily Young struggling to stay on the line of Jessie Campman. So Campman certainly with the early advantage, but we have to see how Gal Zuckerman's going to come back on the far side.
Really good height from Jessie Campman there. And yeah, Lily just trying to hold on, trying to keep her height, following in. We'll see if both of them can squeeze in before Gal. But Gal is looking strong on starboard there. Lily just getting in the tack now, but it's Jessie Campman that is in the lead at the moment.
Provided that she's judged her ley line correctly, which it looks like she has. So Jessie Campman, if she can hold on and win this race, then that's semi-final A, done and dusted. So the other girls going around now need to make sure that Jessie Campman doesn't win this race. As long as Jessie doesn't win this race, the others have a shot at still going through to the final. But right now, no mistakes from the French rider, determined to book one of those places in the final alongside her 2 French teammates who are already in the final.
Jessie Campman going for the jibe now. This is a beautiful lead for the French rider. And you can see it's so windy out there. You can see the gusts coming down the race course. Jessie is an incredibly strong downwind rider. We've seen some incredible speeds from her. And today is no exception. She is sending it out there.
She's not holding back. She's doing about 33, 34 knots downwind and actually going a little bit faster than the others. Lily Young in second, the great British rider, just ahead of Israel's Gal Zuckerman, with Maggie Pichetto from Italy bringing up the rear.
The pressure is on. She only needs to get 1 bullet to secure her ticket to the final. No mistakes now for Jessie Campman.
Round come the next 2. It's Lily Young from Great Britain in second, then Gal Zuckerman. But we're back with our French rider, Jessie Campman, coming back from injury. Only got back on the water after 5 months away from the sport, recovering from a bad injury in August last year. And she has got back to her very best form, perhaps better than she was even before her injury.
It's a very hard short track now. There's not many opportunities for overtaking. Jessie's clear ahead, and just whoa, with a small tap from Jessie down. Nothing major. Stay calm in front and clear, and try to go fast, because it's not many opportunities to overtake anybody here.
No, but the possibility of having a crash is always there in kite foiling, and we've heard about how this water can be a little bit treacherous sometimes this week. There's something about ventilation with the foils that has been creating a bit of problems, but that said, we haven't seen any crashes so far this week. And Jessie Campman looking absolutely solid as she's going up to the top mark of this 2-lap race for the final time, and time is running out for Lily Young, Gal Zuckerman and Maggie Pichetto to keep this semi-final alive. And increasingly, it looks like it's going to be yet another French rider in the final. We've already got 2 French riders in the final. Are we going to see a third with Jessie Campman as she goes round the top mark for the final time?
And it's incredible conditions out there. It's so windy. Usually in this breeze we see big waves, but here in Menor it's still pretty flat. We've got a little bit of chop, but that makes it really tricky underfoot, super ventilating with your foil, and she's doing a really good job just keeping it steady and sending it as much as she can. Going in for the jibe now.
Going in for the jibe and getting down towards the bottom of the course now. Tony, it's looking like...
The pressure is on. Just a single mistake now can be so fatal. One crash in this big... the crazy winds is very hard. You're probably gonna get launched away from the board very far, and those 10 seconds till you get back on might just be there. Jessie for the last jibe. Here we're having Lily and Gal fighting for it. Jessie with a touchdown.
Bit of a touchdown. Okay, so I don't know if that's nerves or what that was, but is she gonna see it through? Rounding the bottom mark. One final blast reach to the finish. She's just moments away from booking her spot in the final. Jessie Campman, she's barely put a foot wrong. She has been a little bit closed in by Lily Young from Great Britain, but it's going to be too late as yet another French woman books her spot in the final. Well done to Jessie Campman. Commiserations to Lily Young, Gal Zuckerman and Maggie Pichetto. That's the end of the road for them, but well done for them for a great week sailed here at the Formula Kite European Championships. And well done to Gal Zuckerman for qualifying to go to the Olympics for Israel, and Maggie Pichetto also for Italy as well.
Yeah, the girls must be stoked, but still a long way to the Olympics, and still anything can happen. Let's hope for the best for them.
Okay, quick break. Back to you shortly. Now we have 4 minutes just over until the start of women's semi-final B, and in pole position we have Great Britain's Ellie Aldridge. Now I want to show you a little story about Ellie Aldridge and the rest of the British squad, so let's just watch this video just to give you a bit of backstory on what's going on with the British squad. On day 5 of the championship, Max Mader and Lauriane Nolot took a step closer to winning back the titles they won 2 years ago.
It's incredible that the girls have bought into pushing towards that medal in the summer as a collective. I think they see it as a collective effort for the last 4 years, and they're willing to give us another little bit of push towards that medal. And if you're training every day with excellence, you can't help but get better.
I feel that them learning together, bonding together has helped. I think also there's quite a bit of competitiveness within the squad as well, which is good. The girls work hard. They're all very different characters, but they've got the same kind of goals. They had the backup of their federation, and yeah, they're an amazing bunch of ladies.
We started this journey together. We've all become such good friends in the process. We want to really finish it strong, and we want it to be a product of how hard we've all worked together and kind of pushing together as a squad, and we want that to reflect in the result in Paris.
We have always said that whoever gets selected, the rest of the squad would support up to the games, and I think we would all stand by that.
If you're in the British sailing team, it's tough. Like, we're the best sailing nation in the world, and you know that if you get to go to the games, it's a real honour, because there's so many great people that you're always competing against in every class. hopefully Ellie's going to go get a medal for us, and so we can all, you know, carry on with funding, carry on being great.
I'm really lucky that all of the other girls are carrying on, and I'm really grateful. I mean, I've obviously, been selected for the Olympics, so they're not actually working towards the Olympics anymore, but they're still working towards helping me at the Olympics. So it's really nice to have a squad to train against and push each other. I mean, we're all right up at the top, and you can see that from all the results and everything, and it's just really, it's nice.
She has a very good chance of getting the gold medal, and we're all right behind her.
On day 5 of the championship, Max Mader and Lorianne Nolot. So we got 2 minutes 30 until the start of the next race. It's going to be women's semi-final B. Jimmy Craythorne, you were part of that squad up until last year. That sort of communist collective approach that you take in the British squad, that's pretty unusual, to get people to work together for the common good like that.
I think it's easy when it's someone like Ellie. She's awesome, and as they all said, like, we are such good friends. We've literally been in this journey from the beginning, and we all just want the best for all of that hard work that our squad put in, and yeah, I think Ellie has so much potential, and we'd all love to see her win a gold, and to be part of that is really cool.
And you will have played your part in her winning whatever medal she manages to get this summer in Paris 2024. So let's just present our 4 riders coming up in women's semi-final B. So in pole position, Ellie Aldridge on 2 points, just 1 point away. Elena Langweiler, she's been one of the jump out sailors from this week. The Swiss rider getting better and better. Daniela Moroz, we're not used to seeing the 6-time world champion having to fight her way through from a semi-final. Normally she's in the final already. And Katie Dabson, part of that British squad that we just heard, talking about why they're still pushing so hard to help Ellie Aldridge win that medal for Great Britain later on this summer at Paris 2024. We've got 1 minute to the start. Tony, for Gal Zuckerman, the port tax start didn't seem to work out in the previous start for the Israeli rider. So based on what we've just seen, what do you think is the best way up this short racetrack?
I do think what they're doing now is the correct way. Well, you can always try going port again and taking a little bit of luck into it, but it's just who's where. And I don't really like seeing them not really fighting. They're just like getting in position and staying there and accepting the place they're in, even though I do feel like there's a better position to be in for maybe some of them.
You would like to see a more aggressive start, but it looks like they're
fighting for it now and coming and pushing each other. 6 seconds to the start. Let's see if they're over or clean start.
So here we go, 3, 2, 1. Not as close as you would have liked, Tony, but there's a lot riding on this, and it looks like a good early start for Katie Dabson and Daniela Moroz. So it's our 2 with no wins on the board that have had the best starts, and that's what we like to see, because we've seen it's a clear start. We want to see someone take the fight to Ellie Aldridge, because Ellie Aldridge from Great Britain, she's the one that will go straight through if she manages to win this race.
Ellie being here in a very dangerous position, super low, probably will not be allowed to tag. Here what I saw from the start was she was a little bit slow, a little bit in the back, and I saw she was ready to send it, but was just 2 seconds too late on the trigger, which I think now would have made a massive difference. She could have probably pushed the other girls even higher up and not give them space, but she's already making a difference here.
And meanwhile, on the far side, Elena Langweiler, she's the most windward of the 4 boards as well. So you've been really impressed with how Elena's been going. Do you think Elena can win this race?
Well, she's got some really good pace. We'll see. I think not such a good start there, but we'll see if her speed can bring her back into the game. Ellie was the first to tack there. They're all now on port. One little splashdown from Els, but she's recovered there.
And Ellie Aldridge. Oh, another splash for Ellie Aldridge.
More ventilations. I think the water is super ventilated today. It will be really, really tough riding out there.
And just as I thought that Aldridge was going to be getting into a position to lead this race, she slips back, and it looks like it's Daniela Moroz that now has the advantage. The American with a small advantage, but Ellie Aldridge, when she's not having those splashdowns, looks like she's got a click of extra speed.
100%. Yeah, Ellie's got some really good pace out there. But it's Daniela Moroz with that first tap.
Elena is in with Daniela. Ellie crashing, going around the mark now.
So it's being led by Elena Lengvila, followed by Daniela Moroz.
No, Daniela Moroz in first. Elena fighting with Ellie. Will Ellie be able to get a little bit more speed? She's trying to get her in. That's such a fun position to be at. But very dangerous now for the jibes. To be so close in such strong winds, that's so scary.
And Daniela Moroz safely through the jibe. Oh, splashdown. Oh.
Having some problems with the foil. We're not knowing if it's either ventilation, maybe something dirty in the water. Daniela going fast.
Daniela Moroz using the Chubanga foil, which is unusual for her. She's trialing the Chubanga this week, and it's strange to be making such a big change to equipment so late in the Olympic cycle, but so far so good for the American rider.
Definitely, and I think in these conditions, you really want to be on a foil that you know and you can trust and you can just push 100%, and I think that shows Daniela's experience here. She can kind of jump on anything and still be able to push. And so, yeah, pretty impressive from Daniela to be pushing on a foil that she's not used to.
I remember Moroz from USA leading this race, needs to win this race and needs to put some wins on the board. She needs to win 3 races to break out of the semi-finals. So if she can keep on sailing like this afternoon, then she could book her spot. Because remember that the way that we've got things set up, Ellie Aldridge only needs to win 1 race. Elena Lengvila needs to win 2, but Moroz and Dabson need to win 3.
It's a big gap now coming in here. Let's see if they made the correct. Whoa, some front stalling on the kite
Front
for
stall
Daniela.
from Daniela. So that's Elena Lengvila now in the lead. We'll see that again.
Here is the moment coming up. Look to the right of the screen.
What happened? Wow.
Oh, big.
So explain, Tony, what's the front stall you just said?
Well, from this small kite going so fast in this hard conditions, what I think happened was for her hitting the water a little bit, not being full on the kite all the time and just releasing it for a little bit, having ventilation from what I think. But we might hear a different story from her later on the beach. Yeah, look at that. She's moving the kite up and down, not keeping it.
Meanwhile, Elena Lengvila leading this race. So the Swiss rider who could barely jibe in these conditions a year ago, an amazing rate of gain and learning. Will Lengvila really be able to win this race? It would be such a breakthrough for her.
Yeah, she's really surprised herself and everyone else this week. She's doing so well. I think in conditions like this, it's all about not making mistakes. And that's kind of what Elena has found herself, being the one to make the least amount of mistakes and taking advantage of the others. And her lead is amazing at the moment.
Playing it smart, keeping the kite higher up on the downwind, not wanting to crash. It's very smart with that kind of a lead. Let's just hope for no more front stalls. And we just hope that Daniela's okay back there, because it can be very dangerous from going of 0 pressure on your kite to having pop pulling you over. I've experienced it firsthand and it's not nice. Clear jibe. Nice.
Taking it pretty easy. She's got the distance on the rest of the pack to be able to play it safe through the jibes, if you can ever call any jibe on a kite full. Yeah. Round the bottom mark for the final time, and still not getting the kite fully down into the power zone, just playing it safe across the finish line, and that is a race win on the board for Lengvila from Switzerland to add to the race win she's already got. So she's now on match point alongside Ellie Aldridge, the British rider who had a crash earlier. And look at Elena Lengvila punching the air, super happy to win that race.
Congratulations. It's nice to see when they're all fighting, but anything can happen at any time. Crashes, front stalls, maybe some weed in the water or something else. So we just hope they're not hurt and they're ready for another race, because everything is still open. Whoa! Ellie flying.
You can
What's
see it's
going
so
on?
gusty out there. I think these gusts are really catching everyone by surprise.
So, do you think Ellie Aldridge, what we just saw then, she wasn't able to cross the finish line even that easily? Has she got a problem with equipment, do you think, or?
I don't think so. I think this is the kind of day it is. Like when it's gusty out there, if you're attached to a kite, it's hard to control it, and sometimes you actually can't control it.
Okay, we will go to a quick break. Back to you shortly. So we saw some drama then in women's semi-final B. Now we're going to be going to men's semi-final A. So we're looking forward to seeing how the men deal with these super difficult conditions. Tony, looking at the conditions out there, what kind of kite size do you think the men will have gone for?
Well, the girls are in 11s, thinking it's going over 20 knots. The guys are probably on 11s as well. We might see somebody on bigger. Max looks like a big kite. I'm not really sure how big it is, but I think it's the kind of day if you can keep a big kite up and you can send it, that's the way to go.
All right, we'll see. We'll try and work out what kite size they're using out there in a moment. We got 3 minutes until the next start. We spoke earlier in the week, actually. Oh, there's the confirmation from the semi-final B and the women that we just saw. So Elena Lengvila has kept the race alive by winning that first race in semi-final B. She's now on match point alongside Ellie Aldridge, and Katie Dabson and Daniela Moroz have it all to do. And Daniela Moroz, how disappointing for the American rider after leading that race before having that splash.
We might have had some technical issues with Ellie. Looking at her coming here on the beach, her kite is not really happy how it's doing. It's almost front stalled on the beach here, so let's hope she gets ready for the next one while still in time, and maybe even change it if she's allowed.
So that's happening right in front of our commentary tent. We're about 10 meters away from the beach, and another 10 meters further away, Ellie Aldridge is on the beach sorting out whatever technical issues she had, and maybe she is looking to change some equipment or fix something.
Well, I can see Daniela getting her 9 prepared, so I think these girls might even be thinking about changing down to a smaller kite, and I think that might be wise as well. You want something stable and fast that you can trust out there, I think. Well,
Tony would be out there on his 23 square meter if he was racing, but he's in the comfort of the commentary box today.
No, not anymore. That was the old Tony. I think they're making me a 25 now, so go big or go home now.
Go big or go home. It looks like the girls are going small and going out again on small. So some frantic kite changes going on for women's semi-final B, but we're going to get into men's semi-final A. Let's have a look at the 4 contenders that we're about to watch. We've got Conor Bainbridge from Great Britain. He's on 2 race wins, only needs to win this one race and he'll be through. Riccardo Pianozzi from Italy, he's the defending European champion. He won it in Portsmouth, the UK last year. He's on 1 point. And then Martin Dolens from Croatia and Max Sokowski from Poland on no race wins. So they are the ones with it all to do in men's semi-final A. We've got 48 seconds to the start of this race. Are we going to see anyone go for the port tack start? We'll find out soon. Got 35 seconds to go, and those streaks of breeze gusting across the Menor Lagoon. This is the biggest saltwater lagoon in all of Europe, a huge bit of water. Normally it's quite flat water, but even today with the amount of breeze we've got, it's got its own set of chop. It's got a wave set out there. 15 seconds to go, still with a lot of time to make up here. It looks like they're all going to be late.
A lot of drama and crazy action is gonna start now. 5 seconds before the start. Kite's down, going full speed. Is he gonna make it port over? Is he gonna be clear? Will he have to tack?
Looks like
amazing port start. Who was that?
That was Max Sokowski with the port start.
Well, amazing start by the Polish rider. Remember, he's on no race wins, so he's going to have to take some risks, and that is a risk that in the early stages of this race has worked out really well for him.
Yeah, you have to have guts to start like that and go in front on such a small start.
We've just heard that Conor Bainbridge and Max Sokowski were UFD disqualified for being too soon. So there was I thinking they were all going to be too late for the start. Well, 2 of them have been disqualified for being too early. So Conor and Max are out of this race.
So we got my neighbor Croatian and the other neighbor Italian just fighting for it. I don't think the other guys know, so I hope there's no tangles with the UFD guys for the rest.
That means that with Conor Bainbridge, he was the British rider on match point. That means we're definitely going to see another race in men's semi-final A, because he cannot win this race. He doesn't know that yet. He doesn't know if he's been disqualified, but with him and Max Sokowski out of this is basically a 2-horse race between Italy's Riccardo Pianozzi and Croatia's Martin Dolens.
Max Sokowski looking strong there. Again, he had the UFD, so this won't count for him, but definitely the right tactical decision for him there, leading everyone else into that windward mark.
But had he not been UFD, I do not think he would be able to go in front of the rest, so he had to try it, he did, and head down for that.
So we've got our 2 disqualified riders going round in first and second, and our first actual rider still in this race in 3rd place, Riccardo Pianozzi.
We just hope he's not gonna push too much and have the crash. Riccardo getting in a beautiful jibe in a good position.
Pianozzi on the right of your screen wearing the green bib, and Max Sokowski in the centre of your picture. Sokowski still pushing hard, thinking this is a race that he can win. He doesn't yet know that he's been disqualified.
All of these guys are really fighting now. Again, they probably don't know that they were UFD. And the wind has picked up. It's 20 to 25 knots, so it is a strong breeze, high speeds. We've got Riccardo Pianozzi now ahead of Max Sokowski there. Riccardo pretty comfy in these conditions. I know he trains a lot in Cagliari. He's used to pretty windy, gusty and flat water conditions just like this. Oh, front stall from Riccardo.
Whoa.
Oh, can he recover? Oh.
Yes, he does. What an amazing recovery. What an incredible recovery. And Pianozzi will be kicking himself, but he is still the leader of this race.
Another front stall from the fly surfers. Wow, what's going on there? You just have to keep the pressure on the kite at all times. It's so important. When you just drop it for a second and you get a shift, a gust, it's just almost over.
Martin Dolens tacking at the bottom of our screen. Martin Dolens, we haven't said much about the Croatian so far. He might as well go out to the opposite side of the course and see what he can find. Here's Pianozzi tacking in the green bib, safely through the tack for the Italian, and still effectively, well, leading this race in in the real world, but also leading this race because of that disqualification of Zakowski and Bainbridge.
And Martin Dolenz inching closer and closer. If anything else happens to Ricky, this could be Martin's race to win. It's only these two guys that are in the game still, with the others UFD.
You guys need to understand something. Connor is there, he's fighting, and Ricky does not know that the other guys are UFD, meaning he is gonna push 100%, which can bring another disaster for the rider. Hopefully not. It's really important information, not knowing or knowing if somebody else is it. Because if he knew now, he'd probably just be, okay, I just don't have to crash. I gotta keep it safe and get around in front of Martin. But he's gonna push now because he's gonna be thinking, if Connor wins this, it's over.
That's a really good point. When Connor
That's exactly what I was talking about. There it is. That's giving Martin free reign over it. That's so unfortunate, so hard. But like I said, it's so stressful there. Touchdown, bam! Hope he's okay.
So Martin Dolenz, we don't see him in picture, but is this the opportunity for Dolenz to overtake Pianozzi? And meanwhile, Bainbridge coming to the bottom of the course on the left of your screen. When he crosses this finish line, he thinks that he will have booked his spot in the final, because if he was still in this race, that would be all that the British rider needed to do. But Bainbridge, when he crosses that finish line, is going to soon be faced with disappointment as he realizes that he had crossed the start line too soon.
Hope that Martin does know that he has to go full on, because he looked as if he was playing around Connor with a tricky jibe, almost front stalling. Fighting for the battle of the UFDs, and it's gonna be a UFD reaching full on. Let's hope we don't get a crash. If crash here can be so fatal for both of them, especially if Connor crashes straight on Max.
Max Zakowski pushing hard because he needs to take this race win off Bainbridge, but it doesn't matter because, as Tony just said, that was the battle of the UFDs, the battle of the two disqualified riders that don't even know until now that that race is void for them.
And it's Martin Dolenz chilling through the line now. He doesn't know that he's actually won this race. He will be so surprised and so happy to realise that.
Amazing.
And see Riccardo Pianozzi just coming in gutted about those two big crashes on the final reach there. There will be more semi-finals to come for these guys.
Okay, a quick break and back to you soon. What a dramatic conclusion we saw to the first race in men's semi-final A, finally being taken by Martin Dolenz, who you see now has a race winner on the board. Connor Bainbridge still on match point. Bainbridge thought he'd squared it away and won that match, but he didn't realise he'd been UFD disqualified, and nor did Max Zakowski, who was second across the finish line, but was also disqualified from that race. We've got men's semi-final B coming up very soon. One of the riders in that is Bruno Lobo. We had a chat with Bruno Lobo earlier on in the week. Let's just, we'll go to that in a moment. But here, Valentin Bontas, the Austrian, on match point. He's already got 2 race wins. Bruno Lobo from Brazil on 1 point. And then our 2 Benoit Gomez from France and Germany's Yannis Maus. They're the guys that need to get 3 race wins in men's semi-final B. Let's find out a little bit more about Bruno Lobo from Brazil.
Until December of last year, I was working a little bit. I'm also a doctor and orthopedic surgeon. And yeah, I was doing both, the professional life and athlete. And now, this year, I'm completely focused on the sport and the final push to the Olympics. My performance is improving after each month, and I'm pretty happy. I'm working a lot. And yeah, let's see how is gonna finish the event, and let's keep focused and keep working for the next one. Yeah, I have a family. My son has almost 2 years old. Sometimes it's difficult yeah, I have the family. Sometimes I have to travel and left them behind, but I know that they are supporting me, and yeah, I do this for them as well. I want to make them happy.
So we got 2 minutes to the start of the next race, and just to remind you, it's Bruno Lobo who's on 1 race win so far. Just ahead of him, Valentin Bontus from Austria on 2 race wins. It's all up to Bontus to see if he can win this first race. And then we got France's Benoit Gomez and Germany's Yannis Maus on no race wins so far.
So, Andy, Jamie, what's coming? What's Benoit gonna do?
Benoit is going to start on port tack.
We're betting on it?
Yeah, I bet your house on it.
Yeah, I bet your house on it too, Jamie.
I had a chat before with Benoit, so where are the keys? Nah, I'm joking. We'll see in a minute, but it's gonna be a hard race. Val has been doing amazingly also last year in the Worlds, coming in 4th was great. He's not been super consistent, but he's been doing much better this year. And we got Benoit and Yannis with 0 points. They gotta bring something out. They gotta try every trick in the book, every trick in their back pocket. So maybe some port starts. Who knows?
And Bruno Lobo, he's been going fast this week. The Brazilian has looked really comfortable in these conditions.
Bruno is a pure sportsman. Just looking at him, he's looking like he's coming from a different sport than the rest of us. But we'll see now soon. Like we see 3 kites coming in here. They're going starboard, and it looks like Benoit's on starboard.
Yes, it looks like your house is safe after all. We got 3 coming in. I think it's Yannis Maus from Germany who is out of picture, and we will maybe see Yannis Maus decide to do the port tack start for Germany. But at the moment, it's Bontus, Gomez, and Lobo coming in from the starboard. Those are the ones that we see. It's Benoit Gomez with the red kites.
Benoit a little bit slow. Maybe he gets the timing right. No, not the best start.
But
One is going port. Bruno with a beautiful start. I think that's him above, yes.
you're correct. So Yannis Maus on the left of your picture going out to what we call the right-hand side of the race course. But of these 3 that we're looking at now, it's Bruno Lobo with the green vest that's actually looking the best of the starters. So a great start for Brazil. Not so good for Benoit Gomez with the red kite at the bottom of your screen.
But Benoit's a tricky rider. And Bruno with crashes. Like I said, Benoit's a tricky rider, and I do believe he can always come up with something to impress us. And let's see it. With an early tack, maybe that's the way to go.
So Benoit Gomez has tacked. Meanwhile, the other 2 continuing. Valentin Bontus and Bruno Lobo just about to tack. And remember, Valentin Bontus from Austria, if he wins this race, then that's the end of the semi-final. The Austrian will go straight through to the final. So that's the one that the other 3 cannot afford to win.
Yeah, Bruno did look very good, very confident. Looks like something's wrong with his foil. He's touching down a lot, getting a lot of ventilation. But I think the thing is, he should have pushed Valentin out when he had the chance on the previous tack.
And it's looking like a very wiggly track for Bruno Lobo on the tracking. Valentin Bontus looks a lot steadier and a little bit faster. So Bontus...
Yannis coming over Benoit. Can he make it over the others? Whoa! Is he over? It's hard to tell from where we're looking.
Yeah, Yannis Maus in the lead there.
Clear ahead. We'll see if he'll get room. He gets room.
So the port tack start has worked nicely for the German. And, oh, bit of a touchdown there for Valentin Bontas. So at the moment, Yannis Maus, who needs to get 3 race wins, he's on track for the first race win if he can just maintain this lead.
Yeah, that was a great rounding of the women mark for Yannis there. Good depth, really good speed. He's got a nice lead here. See if he can hold on to it.
We know the bottom mark is a dangerous place going around with the gusty winds. The kite's been not super steady there. So let's hope they just keep it safe around the dangerous parts. Going fast, that's amazing. 35, 37 knots. Yannis, full on. That's what we love to see.
Yannis Maus going through the jibe.
Wibbly jibe, but makes it over.
Bruno Lobo looking fast with the green bib. I think Lobo's got a bit of speed on Yannis Maus, but they're running out of room as they come down to the bottom of the course. Oh, that's an okay rounding by Yannis Maus. Not the best, but he got away with it.
Nice, just that the kite doesn't front stall, you don't lose, you don't crash. We saw Ricky flying there with the kite.
Meanwhile, Valentin Bontas splitting from the other two there, going outright, seeing if he has a chance to claim this bullet. But it's Yannis Maus from Germany looking really strong there. Few ventilations, but he's got it under control. He's doing pretty well, keeping that foil stable in these unstable conditions.
Just manages to cross ahead of Bruno Lobo, who's tacking on the left of screen. So Maus from Germany in the lead, Lobo from Brazil in second, Bontas in third, and Benoit Gomez back in fourth.
Valentin with some incredible upwind speeds. I'm seeing 25 knots, 26. It's amazing. He is not letting this race win get away from him. He's really pushing on the other side of the course. We'll see if he can catch up.
But looking at the tracker, he's probably already out of the ley line. It's hard to tell for us, because he knows a bit more. The wind can be turning and changing on the buoy.
And it looks like Yannis Maus is still able to hold on to that lead, leading into that windward mark for the second lap now. Bruno Lobo just behind, and Valentin Bontas from Austria on the right-hand side of our screen.
Let's see the roundings. We've had Ricky on the bottom rounding and on the top flying. Keep it safe, Yannis. That's a nice one. Bruno keeping it safe. Val full on. Woo!
There's Valentin Bontas going round in third. He's running out of time to catch up the others. Increasingly, it looks like Yannis Maus doing 36 knots downwind is going to take this race win, his first win on the board in this men's semi-final B.
Yannis Maus doing the simple things well and keeping in control. We've seen some really nice roundings from him. He's defending his lead very nicely here. And we can see those streaky lines of gusts just coming down. It's such difficult conditions out there. But these guys are still showing us some super high speeds. I think Yannis has got the highest speeds of the day so far. 37, pushing on 38 knots. Final jibe for Yannis Maus here. Just about to come into this last reach. Whoa! Crash from Bruno Lobo from Brazil.
Hope he'll get out of that one fine. He's a unit of a person after all, but in these fast winds, fast speeds that we're doing on the water can be very dangerous.
It's going to be a race win for Yannis Maus as he crosses the line, so that's a race win for Germany.
With a comfortable lead getting there in.
And I've just had a message from German journalist Tati, who was speaking to Yannis just before the race, who said, "I love it rough and tricky." Well, he certainly does, because he just won that race and he keeps semi-final B open for another race. Valentin Bontas, who was on match point, is still on match point. Yannis Maus needs to win 2 more races, but he's certainly showing the chops to be able to do that. He's probably looked one of the steadiest riders that we've seen out there today.
I would say so, definitely.
Right, we will go to a quick break. Back to you shortly.
TR5, built to win.
Meet the R1 V4, our highest performance Olympic and IKA registered racing machine.
So time to turn our attention back to the women in a moment, but now just to confirm, that's Yannis Maus with one race win on the board. That moves him to second, but Austria's Valentin Bonta still on match point. Didn't manage to win that first race, but he's still one match point away. And Bruno Lobo and Benoit Gomez still with a lot to do. We got 3 minutes 30 to the start of what's going to be women's semi-final B race. Now, we've been talking a lot about small kites. I'm going to go to an interview we did with Nora Ruskala from Finland in a little bit. But Elena Lengville, just to remind you, it's the Swiss rider that won the race earlier when we saw those crashes from Daniela Moroz from USA while she was leading the race. Let's just hear what Nora Ruskala from Finland has to say about small kites.
Kite size is the smallest, but we could also register the 9 meter on top of the 11. So a lot of people wouldn't use the 9. Mostly the guys would not even register the 9, but I think most of the women do register the 9 meter and maybe use it for today's racing. The thing with the 9 is that just downwinds are hard. Like it's just a tiny, it's like a tiny mosquito, the 9 meter. Of course, it's nice when it's super windy, but most of the times if you struggle downwind, you don't have as much power. The biggest one for us is 21, and for the men normally 23. Feels like a truck with on the highway, and then the small one is maybe more like a sports car. The small one doesn't feel much of a sports car. It's quick and well, I mean, it's easy to use. It flies super quickly in the maneuvers. Sometimes like it will go away. Like if you want it to turn quick, it will turn quicker than you actually have time to turn with the kite. So it's super fast. I think I prefer the bigger kites, but I'm pretty even with all the. I don't really have a personal favorite. Unless, like, mostly 11 to 21, not the 9 meter.
One minute 30 to the start. Jimmy Craythorne, Nora Ruskala was talking about the reservations of using a small kite. You know you've got to use it, but it's also quite twitchy as well.
Definitely. Oh, it's a tricky one. I think the 9 and 11 can be quite similar. People are using different brands, and both of them are quite twitchy, to be honest. I love the way she describes it, like a mosquito, just kind of shooting around the wind window. And as Tony says, you have to be like super easy with how you ride it, and like really sensitive on the bar, because any gust can really kind of screw you over. So sometimes you can't control it, but you have to try and control the kite as much as you can. And we can see definitely 3 9 meters out there, and someone still holding on to an 11 meter. It looks like Katie Dabson still on the 11, whilst the other 3, oh sorry, no, Elena Lengweiler, she's the one on the 11, and everyone else on a 9 meter there.
So there's been a change of kites. That's why we're seeing more colours in the sky than what we saw earlier. We're seeing the Ozone brand come into play. And is that an F1 I see as well?
Yes, that is. Yeah.
So we were all fly surfers earlier. Now we got 3 different brands of kite in the sky as they've changed down to smaller kites. We got just over 10 seconds to the start. We've seen a couple of UFDs disqualifications with the men, so don't go too early. Don't listen to Tony Vodicek. Just do what you need to do. More important to start on the right side of the line. And it was very close by Daniela Moroz, but we'll find out if it was a clear start. Good start by Daniela Moroz, provided that it was okay.
The girls in good positions. Daniela was still clear. Amazing start from her. Can she get the little bit lead? Ellie having problems with the foil or something. She's just not. Whoa! A lot of ventilation coming from her. She's definitely not happy for it. Let's hope she doesn't injure herself. Elena above in a beautiful position. If I was her, just push everybody out. But Daniela with the 9 going very fast. Not sure, but might be clear to attack. The girls going into attack. Some maybe protests coming on.
Well, that's Elena Langvila at the bottom of our screen. Now everyone has tacked, and it's Daniela Moroz with the blue ozone kite on the far side. And in the middle, bit of a touchdown there by one of the British riders. I think that was Ellie Aldridge with the touchdown. It's Ellie Aldridge with the F1 kite. And the orange ozone, Katie Dabson. But it's going fast at the moment, the blue ozone for Daniela Moroz.
Doing work. She's got the speed. She's consistent. She's comfortable. Looking very good. But Elena, look at Elena getting the height. We do not know exactly where the top mark is yet. So it's hard to say who's going better. We see the top mark now.
Yeah, Daniela Moroz definitely going for a lower, faster mode. She loves these conditions. She's always loved a strong wind coming from San Fran. And Elena Langweiler just getting the tack in front of her. Will Daniela be able to overtake her there?
But we need to understand Elena with an 11. She's going to have that advantage on the downwind. And that was only the upwind. And if she makes it first around the top mark, whoa, maybe coming some protest there. Was not much room being given. We do not know who came first in the room there. But let's look at the depth now from Elena. She's going to be going a different mode. It's not even close. Look at that.
That is amazing. Yeah, that 11 is really working for her. Meanwhile, Daniela Moroz putting the hammer down, going a little bit higher there. Elena Langweiler just going for the jibe now, extending this small lead.
And as you said, Tony, she's got the extra legs downwind, the bigger fly surfer on the right of your picture.
I think she's not focusing enough on speed. She's full on the down, but still in front.
Daniela Moroz on the left with the blue ozone. We've got the most experienced, the 6-time world champion from the USA against one of the least experienced, Elena Langweiler from Switzerland. But Elena Langweiler at the moment getting the better of this race. And could this be a second race win for Elena Langweiler?
Let's get some clear shots on the bottom mark, clear roundings, no ventilation, no nothing, going high. Very good from both girls. It's a little bit of a lead, maybe 20 meters, but let's see who can either catch up or extend it.
The British riders not in this at the moment. Ellie Aldridge and Katie Dabson struggling to get on equal terms, and they will be wishing that Daniela Moroz can overtake Elena Langweiler, because Langweiler at the moment is on match point. She already won a race earlier today. She carried through a point already from the Gold Fleet. So if Elena Langweiler manages to win this race, then she books her spot in the women's final later on this afternoon.
Clear to attack over Daniela. That was massive. Let's just hope that her ley line judgment is as good as her speed.
Very similar speeds upwind. It doesn't look like the bigger kite is slowing Langweiler down on the upwind. It seems like she's got equal speed going on the upwind.
Seems like she was listening to what I was talking 10 minutes ago. Go home.
She probably has an earpiece. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, she's listening now.
So the battle is on between Langweiler and Moroz, and the British riders Aldridge and Dabson not really in this race at the moment. It's all on Daniela Moroz with that blue kite in the middle of your screen to see if she can overtake Elena Langweiler.
We're looking the British Ellie. I've been looking at her and she's having a lot of problems with ventilations on the left side of the screen. Going forward, Elena tagged. Let's see if Daniela makes it above. No, I think, well, we can't think yet. Anything can happen. There's gusts, there's stuff in the water, there's ventilation. So Elena, keep it safe. She's got the lead and she's got the advantage on the downwind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. That's massive.
That's a big lead for Lengvila going down the final run, being chased by Daniela Moroz, with Britain's Ellie Aldridge and Katie Dabson bringing up the rear. And look at that depth again. Elena Lengvila going into the jibe, and she's got a slightly deeper line towards the bottom of the course.
Very steady, very controlled. She's just got to stay on the board and keep doing what she's doing. She's definitely on the best kite for this downwind, and she's doing a great job.
She's doing an amazing job keeping it steady. We need to understand that the bigger kite, when it's really windy, well, 11 being already small, but against the 9s, it's definitely hard to hold with the gusts. She must be pushing her legs full on. Let's just hope the last maneuver for her jibe, clear ahead, making the difference bigger, jibing now.
And it was a 5 or 6 second advantage at the top of the course. It's going to be even more of that as Elena Lengvila goes round the bottom of the course for the final time. She's not pushing too hard. She knows she doesn't have to. She's just got to hold on and cross the finish line ahead, and she will have booked her spot in the final. So what an amazing ride by the Swiss rider Elena Lengvila, winning her second race of the session. Punches the air, and she is through to the final. And Daniela Moroz, the 6-time world champion, will go no further in this competition, and nor will the defending European champion Ellie Aldridge, who crosses the line in 3rd place. And it looks like the celebrations have already begun for Elena Lengvila. She's already exceeded her expectations, but she's got more racing to do this afternoon.
Talking to her coach, get her calm down and go, it's not over till it's over.
Okay, quick break. Back to you shortly. So what drama that we just saw in that last women's semi-final. So we now know our finalists who will be going into the women's final this afternoon, because it's Elena Lengvila who is going to be joining Jessie Campman, the other qualifier from semi-finals, along with 2 other French riders, Poema Newland and the reigning world champion Lauriane Nelot. And there you have it, confirmation of semi-final B, Elena Lengvila with 2 race wins on the water to add to the 1 race win she carried through from Goldfleet. We got 3 minutes to the start of our next race in men's semi-final A. And we've got Conor Bainbridge from Great Britain still on match point. He was UFD disqualified in the race earlier, along with Max Zukowski from Poland. And it was Martin Dolence who came through from the back to put a race win on the board. So he's on 1 point, along with Riccardo Pianozzi from Italy, the defending European champion, on 1 point. So just to remind you, it's Conor Bainbridge, 2 points. He's only got to win 1 more race. Pianozzi on 1 point, and Martin Dolence now on 1 point, and Max Zukowski yet to get on the scoreboard. He's got to win 3 races if he's going to get through to the final this afternoon. So, Jimmy, just coming back to Elena Lengvila, she hasn't even qualified to go to the Olympic Games yet.
I know. I'm so impressed. She has definitely been one of the stars of the week. And in these conditions, it's so hard out there. And to just be so calm and cool and collected in that race. And for someone who could barely even jibe last year, to do some of the trickiest jibes of your life and to do them so convincingly and beautifully. Yeah, incredible stuff from her.
And Tony, you said she's got to keep her head in the game. She doesn't want to let too much emotional energy out at this stage. She's got to regather her thoughts and see how much further she can go in this competition.
Well, for sure. I see her. She can make it far. She can get very good, and that's not the ceiling for her for sure. But in this event here, if she's already happy now, like she's won, it's hard to say, but that can mean the end for everything. So keep your head in the game and fight. The same goes for everybody. Conor from being UFD and still winning the battle of the USDs, but him, I think now is pretty confident of how he saw the previous one turned out. Just thinking, all right, I just gotta start that 0.1 second later and keep the pressure on. Ricky is for sure gonna be going fast, but I think more safe now. And Martin, I think he's confident now.
Well, we'll find out. We've got 30 seconds to the start of this race. Bainbridge from Great Britain, Pianozzi from Italy, Dolence from Croatia, and Zakowski from Poland lining up for this next round.
Will we see another port start from Max Zakowski? I think we will. He's lining up for it. We've got Conor, Martin, and Ricardo on starboard there.
Is he gonna push over them again? That's the question. He's trying. 5 seconds. That's gonna be close.
He's not going to go for the over this time. He's going to go for the behind.
Start.
Oh, Zakowski's actually very slow off the start. So Zakowski.
Look at Martin here on the start, being in front. Let's see if it was clear or not. Being above and in front. Can he keep it up? That was amazing. Beautiful start from Martin there.
Martin Dolence has already won a race.
Good job. Look at that. Isn't that just amazing to see? Knowing that the bottom two are fighting themselves. And yeah, he knows. He knows he only needs 2 more. And if he pushes them and just keeps calm, wow, they're very close. They're attacking. Will he turn and cover them? No. Now, that's a dangerous move to go out alone when you can just cover the rest. But maybe it will point out to be better.
I guess it gives him the advantage of being able to judge a ley line a little bit more easily when he does get to the top of the course. But we're seeing a really good battle down here with Bainbridge and Pianozzi. Really close battle between the green bib of Italy on the left and Bainbridge, the British rider, on the right. Meanwhile, Zakowski, who went out to the far side, we'll have to see how Zakowski got on, but it was quite a conservative start by the Polish rider, and I'm not sure he's going to be in the race as they come to the top.
Tricky ley line to judge. We can see Conor Bainbridge tacking now. Ricardo quick to follow.
Let's see where Martin's at. He's going over. Did he go too far? Maybe that was quite a late start, but he's got the height. He's got the advantage now, and he's in the leading position. The other guys are fighting. Ricky, don't crash again. Georgia's not gonna be happy.
Georgia being Ricardo Pianozzi's girlfriend. She's watching on the beach here. And it's very, very close at the top. It's Dolence with a narrow advantage ahead of Bainbridge and Pianozzi, but it's all to play for with Max Zakowski just going around now with a lot of catching up to do. So who's going to have the legs downwind? What size of kites do you think they're running? Are they all on 11s?
Pretty sure they're all on 11s, yeah. Conor going into an early jibe. He has to try something. Whoa, that was a close kite. next to Martin. Martin is still in front, clear to jibe whenever he wants. He just got to judge the ley line correctly.
I just saw 38 knots exceeded by Martin Dolence there for a moment. Massive speeds, and they're really putting each other under pressure, these front three. Dolence with a marginal advantage on the right, being pushed hard by Pianozzi with the green bib, and Bainbridge in the red bib not far behind.
Pianozzi pushing so hard. We saw him push himself literally to the limit in the race before. Will he be able to keep it together in this one and maybe even overtake Martin? Martin looking good in this jibe, still leading, but it is close between these two guys.
Oh, Pianozzi again going around. Managed to save it, but is not in the best position. Connor just behind, and we see Max.
Zakowski at the back, and it's Dolence being pushed hard by Pianozzi right now, with Bainbridge still in the battle, but Dolence looking increasingly like he could take a second race win.
Yeah, but it doesn't have the height, has the speed similar to the guys, but Rick is going very, very high. Might just block Martin out from tacking. If that happens, that can be catastrophic for Martin. Let's see if he'll be able to manage to get clean. It's definitely hard for Martin to judge how high he needs to go, not being able to see anybody in front, and that doesn't have his eyes in the back of his head. Ricky coming strong. Can he block him or can he not?
Remember, it's Bainbridge from Great Britain who's still on match point. If he wins this race, then he will go straight through to the final. But at the moment, it's looking like Martin Dolence from Croatia is going to be putting another point on the board for him.
It's looking Ricky is putting it very good, not letting Martin tag there, and is in front of his kite. Let's see if he can be clear to the mark room. And he's been showing some amazing height, Ricky, with great speed. And this might as well just be one for him as well. It's very hard to tell now.
Now
he has to do two mark roundings, which we know from previous race he's not so good at, but
they've given themselves a difficult rounding. They're right on the ley line here, so they've got a lot to do in a short time. I wonder if this is going to play into the hands of Bainbridge on the right-hand side.
Ricky is clear ahead. No need for mark room around. Connor is out. They're tacking, and Ricky going for it. Wow.
Important overtake by the Italian. Riccardo Pianozzi really wants to take this race win away from Martin Dolence. It's going to be a battle between these two, with Bainbridge breathing down their necks, waiting to pounce on any mistake from Croatia or Italy.
Connor looking very fast in the back. Already in the position to block Martin, as it seems.
But it's Riccardo Pianozzi still in the front, jibing now. Really good depth out of that mark there. Looking pretty solid in the lead now. Can the other two catch him up?
Pianozzi just needs to keep it together. We saw a few splashdowns in the previous race, but so far so good for the young Italian, the defending European champion who won this 6 months ago in Portsmouth, UK.
This almost would have been the end for him had he just not crashed the previous one. Yeah, Ricky looks clear ahead now. Martin's fighting with Connor.
It's just one more jibe that he needs to do, and then it's the reach. Can he stay in the lead for this race and make it into the final?
Here comes the Italian, Riccardo Pianozzi. Is he through the jibe?
Gosh, beautiful jibe. And then it's just a choo-choo train in the back. Martin, Connor, Max Zakowski in the back coming. Ricky getting his second win now, which puts him there with Connor with both 2 wins. Each got to win only one more.
Congratulations to Riccardo Pianozzi. That is fantastic sailing by the Italian, and as Tony was just saying, that puts him on match point alongside Connor Bainbridge. Martin Dolence will be disappointed to have missed out on that race win, and Max Zakowski from Poland yet to put a win on the board. We'll go to a quick break, back to you shortly. So we got 3:50 to the start of the next race. There's confirmation of Riccardo Pianosi's race win. That puts him now on match point alongside Great Britain's Conor Bainbridge. And Martin Dolence still needs to win 2 more. Max Zukowski needs to win 3. That's the scenario. We're going to be getting into men's semi-final B. Our next race coming up in 3:30. One of the riders in here is Benoit Gomez. He's a bit of a maverick, a bit of an outsider. Let's find out more about France's Benoit Gomez. Benoit Gomez, we're going to get a little profile of Benoit Gomez.
Of course, I think I'm a bit outsider compared to the rest of the fleet. I'm trying to do different. I'm a bit lazy in my lap of every day, so if I can find a shortcut or different way to go at the same point, I will try to use this outsider part inside me to reach the buoy at the first and to race at the top level. I was always, I would say, outsider during races, but this year I'm not anymore in contract with Gene kiteboarding. So yeah, I decided to change for the VMG2 with the same kite as everyone for the big size. Like this, we have the same gear and we are fighting with the same kite, so it's quite interesting for me to see the difference between the kite before and the kite that I use now. I like to push the limit of the sport. It's also interesting for myself to ride with different kites, to try to reach better performance and know more about the different technology that the other brand use. I'm really happy that I'm using different kites. I start to feel some stuff and I understand more about the kite and about this two-liner kite.
So that was Benoit Gomez. We can see him on that red gin kite in this race. And will he be going for that port tack start? Will he be going for the outsider approach? What do you reckon, Tony?
Well, I'm not sure, but he hasn't got much to lose. Now he's got everything to gain, which is a hard position to be in, but a great one at that. Meaning he can do whatever he wants, whatever he's got in the bag, whatever he's got.
And yeah, it's definitely a good position to be in if you're kind of in that nothing to lose mindset, which Benoit is. So he does have that kind of free reign of risking it all and just going for it. And who else do we have? We've got Valentin Bontis. He's been putting on a great show for us all week. He was definitely really calm and steady in the race before. He had really good speed. We were seeing less ventilations from him. But it was Yannis Mouse who came through strong with a really good race win. Can he do it again?
So final 30 seconds coming into the start.
Looks like we might even have 2 port stalkers this time. Or Yannis changing his mind at last 20 seconds, coming in front.
And the other port tack starter, can we guess who that might be?
We didn't bet anything this time.
It's Benoit Gomez at last, Benoit Gomez. And maybe Yannis Mouse has actually tacked round onto starboard, so it's only going to be Gomez with the red kite that goes for the port tack start.
Seconds.
And they're off. We'll find out if it's a clear start or not. Good start by Yannis Mouse on starboard. Benoit Gomez going out with the red kite out to the right-hand side. Clear start.
Yannis Mouse, who fired off the pin there, really good speed. He's going low and fast. Will he be able to extend enough to cross the other two? Well, that's Valentin Bontis and Bruno Lobo from Brazil. Bruno, who had an unfortunate jibe crash in that last race, but looks like he's well and recovered and ready to go for this one. Yannis Mouse looking strong there, though, and again, really stable. He seems to be really in control of those ventilations.
Looking strong, looking fast, but the guys are in the position of blocking him, so looking here and thinking Bruno with the green bib can be out of the game almost. Wow. Yannis have to go all the way around now. And Val just got the edge and clear ahead. That was so impressive.
Squeaky cross from Val, but he makes it. Bruno Lobo attacking right now. How will Benoit Gomez come in on starboard? We'll see in a second when they all come together.
That's Bruno Lobo we're looking at with the green bib, but meanwhile, it's Valentin Bontas who's got the advantage and Yanis Maus pushing hard, but Valentin Bontas currently leading this race unless Benoit Gomez can come in strongly from the far side. We'll have to see how that port tack start has converted for him at the top of the race course.
Valentin looking pretty strong here. Really good speeds. He's definitely got some of the fastest upwind speed that we've seen of any of the riders this week. And there's Benoit Gomez. Oh, is he tight on that ley line? He's got to tack again. Oh, Benoit.
Oh, what a misjudgment by Benoit Gomez. That could have been a race lead if he'd have managed to judge that ley line correctly. And Tony Vodicek, you said Benoit Gomez had a radar for these ley lines, but not this time round.
Well, I understand he's being pushed to his limits, and he's hoping for a little bit of luck of maybe having the guts to jibe to tack a little bit earlier and hoping for the little bit of a shift. As we're seeing on the trackers, the ley line is changing, so at many times it was as if Benoit was way over the ley line, so it's very hard to tell with the shifts.
So coming down the track, doing close to 35, 36 knots. We're looking at Yanis Maus right now, charging down the bottom of the course. And it's very, very close at the moment between Yanis Maus and Bruno Lobo, and that's Valentin Bontas on the far side. It looks like Bontas from Austria has a marginal lead, but it's going to be very close between these three towards the bottom of the course.
It is so close, but he just gets the jibe in. A bit of a squeaky jibe there. He recovers his kite. They're all pumping for that leeward. I think they've all underlaid a little bit, but they have just about made it round. Who is going to have the best rounding here?
It looks like Valentin Bontas leading had the best of the rounding, and if Bontas can win this race, then he goes through to the final. So it's up to the other two just behind him, Maus and Lobo, to see if they can overtake Bontas in the red bib.
He's in a really good position, covering Bruno, having Yanis just enough in the back. Well, way back. He's clear to attack whenever he wants, and that's just a great position to be in. Don't you remember this, Jamie? When you were doing it, you were loving it, you were going fast. And Andy, there's still time for you.
I better get into this game soon before it's too late for me, but it seems like it's a young person's game, this kiting.
Definitely is, but we gotta be thinking fast. Whoa, another crash. Who's that? Yanis. Unfortunate. Was looking good back there, but now not so much.
And it looks like Bruno's going to make it hard for Valentin with this tack into the windward. He's really pushing. Will Val's speed be able to get him just that little bit ahead to squeak that tack in? We will see in a second. Again, looking really solid there.
Valentin Bontas being pushed by Bruno Lobo from Brazil.
The next question is, will Bruno crash again? Because he's looking pretty good here. If he manages to judge the line perfectly and gets a beautiful tack, he might just push Val to tack too early.
Coming up to ley line, they're going to be tacking soon.
Very fast, very far. Yeah, look at this. Okay. We'll see who made the right call. Bruno having a lot of ventilation.
Oh, crash there for Valentin.
Whoa, that might just give Bruno enough to go over. But Valentin's higher, meaning he will get a better slingshot. Might just go inside of Bruno. Yeah, look at that. He's pumping in. Bruno was not so happy there. He's thinking in his head, I do not know much Brazilian, so I can't say nothing for this. But
whoa, but look at Bruno there. He's just really squeaking out that downwind. Look at his depth.
Bruno Lobo doing over 36 knots. He knows that he's got to push hard. He's got nothing to lose here because he has to beat Valentin Bontas. If Bontas wins this race, that's the end of the semi-final. Bontas will be through, but Bruno Lobo pushing like mad to make sure that Brazil puts a point on the board. Oh, off the board, Valentin Bontas, massive crash, and that's the end of Valentin Bontas' hopes for this race. Bruno Lobo looking like he's going to put a race win on the board.
Out there, that's pressure. You must have, in his head is going, don't crash, don't crash, boom. He must be so mad there, but let's just hope he's fine. Bruno is going. Valentin has done an amazing job this week. That's meaning he's going to have another chance at a race of going to the finals.
And Bruno Lobo, if he can win this, will put himself on match point. So this is going to put him on level pegging with the Austrian Valentin Bontas, who we saw crash just now. So if Bruno Lobo can keep it together, he's looked so comfortable in these conditions on Mar Menor this week. He says it's a lot like training back in Brazil. And Yanis Maus, meanwhile, has closed the gap on Bruno Lobo, but it's going to be a point on the board for Brazil. And Bruno Lobo, he's got to be very happy with how he ran that race just then. Little punch of the air from Lobo, the knee surgeon taking time out from the hospital to focus on his Olympic campaign for Paris 2024.
I mean, look at those legs. He definitely did some operation on those knees. He's got some titanium inside there. Very strong stuff.
Just like you, Tony. Well, congratulations to Bruno Lobo. Semi-final B in the men will continue. We'll go to a quick break. We'll back to you shortly. Well, what a race we just saw then. It looked like Valentin Bontas, the Austrian, had booked his spot in the men's final, but no, it wasn't to be. That crash on the final run down to the bottom of the course left Bruno Lobo from Brazil clear to win that race. And now Bruno Lobo is also on match point alongside Valentin Bontas. Yanis Maus, he's won one race earlier today. He still needs to win two more. And Benoit Gomez with the red Jin kite still needs to get a point on the board. We got 3 minutes to the start of our next race, and this is going to be to see who can win out of Bainbridge from Great Britain, Pianozzi from Italy, Martin Dolence from Croatia, and Max Zakowski from Poland. And just to remind you, we've got two riders on match point, Bainbridge and Pianozzi. Pianozzi, the teenager from Italy who won the European title last year. He won the last race that we saw just a few minutes ago. Tony, if you had to put your money on anybody, who do you think is going to come through out of semi-final A?
Let's go like this. I'm betting on my neighbors.
You're betting on the neighbours, so you're going to bet on Martin Dolence or Riccardo Pianozzi?
They're both my neighbors, so 50-50.
Okay.
But no,
you don't actually live next door to them. It's just that Slovenia is between Italy and Croatia.
One thing, I can go kite in my home and be in Croatia and in Italy in about 1 hour altogether.
Okay.
So that's really an amazing thing. And then you see the police going around and then you just wave and they wave. So it's pretty... Connor's been really consistent, except for the UFD. And I know him. He's been racing for a very, very long time. So definitely the veteran here and might just be the one to get it. But then again, Rick is a wild card. He's going full on and not really caring so much for how he's gonna feel tomorrow. He just knows what he wants, and he's gonna do anything he can to achieve it.
Yeah, Pianozzi won the European title last year in Portsmouth. He was so happy on that occasion, and he would love to do it again. He'd love to be going up against the two qualifiers to the final later on this afternoon. That's Max Mader from Singapore and Axel Mazzella from France. We've got 50 seconds to go. And will we see Benoit Gomez or anyone else go for the port tack start?
Hopefully not Benoit Gomez. I don't think he's in this.
Oh, sorry, no, I'm mixing up my... No, naughty Benoit, you're not in this start, yeah. It looks like it's going to be 4 starting on starboard on this occasion. 25 seconds to go.
We can see Ricardo at the top of the pack there. Conor Bainbridge in the red bib.
We can see Benoit probably doing some 360s.
10 seconds to go. And still a bit of, there's the start line. Is anyone going to be too soon? We'll find out in a moment.
2 seconds, wow. Might be, I don't know. We're going to have to wait for now and see. Who was that on the bottom? Either Max or Martin.
So it's Max Zakowski on the bottom and Martin Dolent at the top. And in the middle, we've got Riccardo Pianozzi, who's punched out quite nicely, quite early already. A clear start, that is good. Everyone is in the game.
Max Zakowski not able to keep pace with... Oh.
Whoa. Conor is out. So the wild card is not wild. It's calm. It's collected, not doing anything. Let's see if we can see what happened.
Here we go. Watch the red bib. Watch the red bib.
Some ventilation. Not a bad crash, but that's a big no-no for such a level. You have one mistake here, you're out.
So can Conor Bainbridge close up the gap? He's back up and running now. He wasn't down and out for too long, but he's got a lot of catching up to do.
Martin Dolent already at the bottom of our screen, heading out on port there. The other two, really close battle with Riccardo Pianozzi and Max Zakowski. We've seen a lot of crashes in these semi-finals, so the floor is open.
Martin Dolent and Riccardo Pianozzi very close on ley line at the top of picture. It's Max Zakowski at the bottom.
Yeah, it just depends if Max Zakowski can judge the ley line just right to not give the other guys no room nor place to go to attack, or they have to avoid him, or either just make attack in front of him, hoping to get the mark but not getting it. Ah, looking good. Rick is coming in fast. Will he able to be above it?
And Zakowski still in the battle as well, so it's going to be 3 going round in close succession.
Ricky, okay.
Martin Dolent's round in first, was it? I think it was Martin Dolent's.
Yeah, Martin, then Max and Ricky in the back.
Martin finds himself in the lead again. Ricky on the hunt. Ricky's got incredible downwind. You can see that depth. And he is looking pretty strong for the overtake. Can Martin keep this lead? Conor too, with a really good rounding at the back. Still could be in the game, you never know.
Conor Bainbridge pushing hard after that crash out at the start. It looks like Conor Bainbridge is gradually working his way back into this fight.
It's anybody's game. It's such a short course, so hard to overtake, but the guys are doing amazing jobs. Just be like, I'ma be in front, and just changing positions. So interesting for us, everybody watching from home, from the beach. It's beautiful to see. Look at the buildings in the back. They're zooming across the water.
Pianozzi holding a marginal lead at the moment, and if Pianozzi wins this race, then the Italian will go through to the final later on this afternoon. So it's down to the 2 chasers, Martin Dolent and Max Zakowski.
Crash again. Not the best rounding. Pretty low, but he's been very fast and can get up the height back. Conor from the back, not so happy, but he's pushing. He's not out yet. Anything can happen to these guys. Ricky clear ahead, free to attack whenever he likes. Let's just hope he doesn't have any ventilation. Well, it depends who you are, what you're hoping for.
We've got Max Sikowski chasing him, Martin just behind, but it's Ricky who is holding on to this lead at the moment. He's found himself at the front multiple times today and a few crashes, but he will be wanting to really keep stable, keep sending, and just stay on the foil.
They're coming very close, yes, exactly, close to the ley line, tacking now, clear tacks. Let's hope he didn't overestimate the ley line again. Whoa, Ricky, don't crash again. Like I say again, he didn't have, so his head must be spinning.
Conor Bainbridge, left of your picture with the red bib, still pushing hard, but he's in 4th place, looking like he's closing the gap on Max Sikowski. But it's now up to Martin Dolence to see if he can take the fight to Riccardo Pianozzi, because if Pianozzi, the Italian, can stay ahead, he will go through to the final. We're on the final of 6 days of competition at the Formula Kite European Championships, one of the most important events of the season. These are the riders aiming for the Olympic Games at Paris 2024 later on in the summer, and the Olympic Regatta in Marseille in the south of France. And Pianozzi knows he's done enough this week to book his spot to represent Italy at the Olympic Games. Is he going to do enough in this race to get his spot in the final and maybe defend the European title that he won a year ago? Round goes Pianozzi in 1st place, closely followed by 3 others. Sikowski in 2nd.
So close.
Sorry, Dolence in 2nd.
We've seen so many switch-ups in all of these races. There's so much opportunity for overtaking, and a lot seems to be happening on these downwinds. Can Riccardo Pianozzi hold on to this? It's looking good for him. He's in a really good defending position there. Just 2 more jibes to take him through this semi-final.
Here comes the jibe for Riccardo Pianozzi. Only 1 more jibe to complete after this, and then he will be going through to the final if he can just keep the wheels on the wagon.
As you guys can see, when we got the drone view, we got the course in lines. We actually set this up for you guys to understand it easier and nicer, who's how much in front. Ricky just has to keep it clean, keep it safe. Not something he's been doing the first race. Well, actually, the last one, he was doing amazingly. Clean jibe, slowly, no crashes. Conor coming full on.
Conor might as well come full on. There's not much left in this. The other 3 need to throw everything at this, because if Riccardo Pianozzi crosses this finish line, then this semi-final is done and dusted. The Italian is just moments away. He's going to cross the finish line, and Riccardo Pianozzi, the reigning European champion, will live to fight for another final later on this afternoon. Big celebration for Italy. And his girlfriend Georgia is among many celebrating on the beach.
Good job to all of them. They've done an amazing job. Conor then staying in the semis, not going forward. Ricky will be fighting with Maximilian, with Axel, and somebody whom we will find out soon.
And we will have a quick break in a moment. There's the confirmation. Pianozzi with 3 wins now. Conor Bainbridge will be disappointed not to have gone through to the final. So will Martin Dolence of Croatia and Max Sikowski from Poland. So there you have it. Italy goes through to the final. We'll go to a quick break before we come back to you with the next race.
The R5, built to win.
Three minutes 30 till the start of our next race. This is men's semi-final B. So we've only got 1 semi-final remaining, and this is to find out which of these four riders will go through. Will it be Valentin Bontas from Austria? Will it be Bruno Lobo from Brazil? Benoit Gomez from France or Yannis Maus from Germany? We've seen race wins on the water for Yannis Maus earlier on in the session, and then most recently by Bruno Lobo after that crash from Valentin Bontas down the final run. It's always so uncertain in these conditions. We got just under 3 minutes to go.
We've seen two pretty major jibe crashes, one from Bruno Lobo in that first race and another from Valentin Bontas. These guys are pushing so hard. The racing is so close, and it's really bringing out everything that they've got. We're seeing them leave it all on the race course here.
Are they getting better as they get more used to the conditions, or are they getting worse because they're getting tired?
That is a really good question. It's hard to know. It's hard to know.
I'd say they're definitely getting better. Like, the more you get used to it, the more you feel comfortable pushing, and that can be very dangerous, because that can, with the ventilations, which you cannot foresee coming, can be very dangerous for the crashes. But that's what you gotta do. We're gonna go 30 knots. What you're gonna be thinking? All right, let's not crash. No, you're gonna be thinking, all right, let's go 31, let's go 32, and so on. Going 40 knots, 50 knots, as much as you can.
Do you think Valentin Bontas will have been shaken by that crash, or do you think he's got the confidence to push like you say that he needs to?
I do believe that he has the confidence to push, and the jibe will come to bite him in the neck probably tomorrow in the form of whiplash.
So whiplash is a serious thing, is it? You have a crash like that and you can really feel it.
Yeah, for sure. I've had a crash last year in Marseille. And just the next thing I remember, the crash was on downwind. The next thing I remember, everybody was already going upwind. So yeah, just gotta be really protective. And I think the more crashes you have, the more confident you are for that split-second decision, just to get into the cube or whatever you need to be to stay safe, away from the foil, and not to get your arms or legs out to be able to be dislocated from the crash, from the impact. And yeah, Valentin, for sure, right now, he doesn't even know he crashed earlier, and he's fully focused on this race.
We've got just under 1 minute to the start of this race, and we're going to see who of Bontas, Maus, Lobo and Gomez can win this next race.
And it looks like we've got a split fleet here. So we've got Valentin Bontas and Bruno Lobo lining up on starboard there. And on port, it's Benoit Gomez and Yannis Maus who are going for that port start.
So a 2 and 2. Let's see how it works out. Mostly we've seen the starboard tacking work out in people's favour, but I can't help thinking that if Benoit Gomez had got his ley line correct the previous time, he might have been leading around the top mark of the previous race that we saw in the semi-final.
Exactly, yeah, this is his second chance. Oh, we can see Maximilian there in the yellow bib. He's going to be watching interestingly as these guys go for it. So the port guys have ducked the other two. I think we'll see a very close match race with Bruno Lobo, Valentin Bontas, both on 2 match points. Benoit Gomez looking strong there on top on the red kite, and Yannis Maus as well going out on port.
So we got 2 going one way, 2 going the other way. Will it go the way of Brazil and Austria, who we see in picture at the moment, or will it go the way of Germany and France going out to the far side of the racecourse? At the moment, Lobo has the better of Bontas in this little match race. Brazil just ahead of Austria.
It's a hard match for them. One is going to be going home after this one, or maybe not. Both having some touchdowns.
So Bontas is the first attack. He was holding on Bruno Lobo from the attack. So these guys are pretty close to ley line up on the left-hand side of the race course. Very, very even between these two. But meanwhile, we'll have to find out how the other two, Germany and France, are doing on the far side. Bontas and Lobo charging out towards the top mark for the first time round on this 2-lap race. And Yannis Maus and Benoit Gomez. We've just heard that this race is abandoned. We'll try and tell you why that might have happened. So Mark 1 is drifting. The mark that they were heading towards is broken free and is drifting. And So they need to secure that with the anchor again, and then they're going to need to rerun this race. So we will go to a quick break. We'll come back to you shortly.
Meet the R1V4, our highest performance Olympic and IKA registered racing machine.
What's that?
So, interestingly, if a race is abandoned, it's hard to know. It would be interesting to know if these guys go for the same strategy again. What do you reckon, Andy?
Yeah, I wonder how they thought they were going left and right. I think apart from when we made a bet on Tony's house earlier for Benoit Gomez to go out to the right, that's the only time he didn't go out to the right. He loves a port tack start. I think we'll see Benoit Gomez do it again, and possibly Yanis Maus, because they might as well throw everything at it. You might as well try something different. But it must be frustrating for them as they're going up to the top mark and then the mark breaks clear and they've got to reset the course. That's a little bit frustrating. That's the mark we're talking about, that white buoy that needs to be repositioned before we can get back into racing. Now, I just want to draw your attention to the fact that Elena Lengweiler from Switzerland has qualified to go through to the final. She's going to be up against three formidable French women. That's going to be Lauriane Nelot, Poema Newland and Jessie Campman, and we think that this is the French selection trials or part of it, and they have been absolutely on fire. They've been the top three of the leaderboard all week. We caught up with the French girls a little bit earlier on in the week, and we made a little video about what's going on between the French.
I'm not surprised about all the Frenchies being top three. Honestly, we trained so much this winter. I doubt I haven't seen many people training as much as we did. But yeah, at the moment we're still on the trials. The federation haven't decided who was going to the game. So yeah, I think all the girls are quite pushing to have the ticket to go to Paris.
I just want to kite at my best, honestly, and the pressure is here, but I'm trying to not think about it.
Jessie is doing very well. She's super fast on the water, and it's pretty impressive with her injury last year. That she succeeded to come back this year like nothing happened. We're all training together, and we can see that even during the training camp, it's so close that between us that for sure we were going to be on top here.
So 2 minutes 30 to the start. So it sounds like the race committee and the crew have managed to reposition the white windward mark pretty effectively. It's very strong winds on Menor today. We're gusting up to, I think, what, 28 knots, is it? Something like that?
I think so. I think pushing on 30, well, from what it looks like. I don't know if that's true, but it looks really windy out there.
We're not even questioning the fact that we can go racing. The other types of sailing boat, you'd be wondering whether it was getting too windy to race, but kites seem to be able to go up to a really high wind range.
Absolutely, yeah. We hold on to those kites in pretty much anything.
Now, the French that we were just watching there, how do you compare the French setup with the British setup that you know so well, Jimmy? Are they as tight a bunch? Are they all for one and one for all like you are in the British squad?
Oh, it's a good question. It's hard to tell. I know they're three very highly competitive ladies, and I think they sometimes train together, sometimes train apart, but whatever they're doing, it's working because they are so fast. I've been so impressed this week, and I've been impressed with how they've really risen to the pressure. I think there've been regattas before where unfortunate things have happened or crashes have happened in the last moment, but they're really showing us what they've got with incredible consistency this week. Each of them winning races, and yeah, I think to see anyone giving Lorient a run for her money is pretty cool, actually. And these French girls are bringing it to the table at the right time.
They sure are. I mean, Poe Manulan and Jessie Campman, we've seen them operating at such a high level, and I think Lauriane Nolot has had to up her game as well. So the French competitiveness, I've never seen it at the level that we've seen this week. Meanwhile, back to our men's semi-final B, the ongoing battle between Bontes of Austria, Lobo of Brazil, Benoit Gomez of France, Yannis Maus from Germany. We saw an even split off the line in the previous start that was abandoned just now. I wonder how they're going to line up this time round. What do you think, Tony?
I think into port to starboard, it looked like they were all going for port, but then Valentin and Yannis escaped to their starboard side. Let's see if they're going to have the good trigger. It was a little bit late. It was the first one throwing starboard. I think that's Valentin.
So that's Valentin Bontes and Yannis Maus. So slight different tactics here. We've got Bruno Lobo and Benoit Gomez going out on port. An early tack there from Yannis Maus. So it's just Valentin Bontes left on the starboard, alone, pushing hard with no reference point here.
That can be very dangerous and scary, not knowing where and what the other guys are doing. This can be either very good for him or very bad. But the thing is, if this is very bad for him, he's alone. If he would be very bad with everybody else, he'd still be there and might have a chance to catch up or beat them. We'll see now soon when they're going to be slowly coming to tack. There we go from Valentin. Tacking in, beautiful tack, not crashing anymore. I think he's had a chat with his coach, and his coach said, you had enough crashes for today, no more, thank you. No more, exactly. We'll see when the other guys will tack. Looks like they're almost already on the ley line. Valentin, it's looking first. It's incredible. Benoit.
He's going so fast as well, Valentin Bontes. I wonder if he's actually pushing low because he's overstood ley line. I don't know why he's gone that far up to that left-hand ley line, but he's certainly going quick with it.
He might have overlaid and then it's going full speed. We were seeing earlier 27, now it's 26 knots up and up to 27, which is incredible. Well, for these conditions, it's okay. But look at that. He made the right call going left. So I was gonna say starboard, but no, it's not. So it's left for you guys. Or left side of the course. And he's just there. Let's see. Makes it in front. Goes around. Slingshots down. No, not yet. On the next buoy.
Well, Valentin Bontes, that was a brave call to go it alone out to the left-hand side up that first beat, but it certainly worked for him.
It certainly did. Let's see now going downwind, but look at Bruno again. Look at those hands. He's like trying to get the downwind, trying to get the depth. Full on.
So Valentin Bontes approaching that point of the race course where he had a massive crash in the previous race. Will that be going through his mind, or has he managed to banish that from his mind? Bontes leading, being chased closely by Yannis Maus and Bruno Lobo, who we're looking at here. This is the Brazilian who loves these conditions. And Benoit Gomez at the back with the red kite.
Yeah, Benoit has not been really performing so good today. I think his mind is already elsewhere. Axel being already in the finals, which is hard then for him, battling for the French place, which for sure must be the hardest place to get. I think their trials are definitely harder than anybody else's. And impressive for all of the girls and the guys still going full on battling for it.
So Bontes and Lobo, they're both on match point. If Bontes or Lobo can win this race, then they will go through to the final.
Yannis manages to get the downwind amazingly and beat Valentin. Not the best rounding across the mark. Well, didn't look like it. He might be really far in front. That's doing very good.
the Germans are back. They're going full on.
So this is exactly what Yannis Maus needs to do. He's already won a race earlier today. There's 2 other riders on match point. Yannis Maus needs to win this race to keep the game alive. And if the German can win this race, having just overtaken the others, then he will also go on to match point.
Valentin Bontas putting the pressure on Yannis Maus there. Yannis going a little bit lower. I don't think he's got room to tack there. Can Val hold him out?
For sure. Now Bruno's tacking. Yannis wanting to tack. Look how far he's taking him. Wow, amazing from Valentin. But now it only depends if they're above the ley line, because then Valentin can just push him out.
So Bontas and Yannis Maus in a match race up in the top left of your screen, and Bruno Lobo from Brazil out on his own out on the right. Lobo hoping that the other 2 are fouling each other up. So this is still a 3-horse race with Benoit Gomez with the red kite out of picture and still struggling to catch up the other 3.
It's an amazing day to be watching this, to be doing it for sure. Such strong winds and beautiful flat waters, meaning they can go and push as much as they want with not so many worries of hitting a wave. Hard to say who's in which position from here. They're very close. Wow, they overlaid a lot. Bruno very slowly pushing them up. That was so impressive from the Brazilian. But who will be able to tag? Whoa!
Great tag by Bruno Lobo. Bruno Lobo, what an amazing comeback on that leg. Now moving into the lead, and if Lobo can hold this to the bottom, then he will go through. But Yannis Maus, we saw him overtake on the previous downwind leg. Yannis Maus has nothing to lose. He's got to push like crazy. The German with the white bib will be looking to catch up Bruno Lobo and keep the race alive for a little bit longer.
This is what you got to be careful here, Andy. You are not supposed to be match racing. You got to keep your head out of the boat. You need to know where the other guy's at. That's exactly what happened here. They were so overlaid that it was not even fun. And Bruno just did what Bruno did. He came in and was like, that's my space.
That's exactly it. The other 2 maybe got caught up with each other, the Austrian and the German. And Bruno Lobo looking as cool as anything. The knee surgeon from Brazil.
Just needs to be calm, not any mistake. We've seen many crashes so far, many ventilations. He has to be thinking in his mind, there's gonna be a ventilation at any moment, any point. Valentin in the back.
So here is the final run through to the finish. Will Bruno Lobo be able to keep it together across the finish line, being chased by Yannis Maus? Valentin Bontas just coming round, but it looks like it's going to be Bruno Lobo from Brazil in the green bib, winning through to the final. Congratulations to Brazil.
Well done, very good.
Amazing performance by Lobo, who has really stepped up this week. From being the part-time kiter, taking time out from the hospital from his job as a knee surgeon, he's putting more time into his campaign in the final run into Paris, and that extra time seems to be working out for him, looking really comfortable in these conditions. And Bruno Lobo will go through to the final later on this afternoon with Riccardo Pianozzi from Italy, Axel Mazzella from France, and Max Mader from Singapore. So congratulations, Bruno. And that's the end of our semi-finals. We'll be getting into the finals very soon. So a quick break and we will be back to you to preview those finals. So that's the end of our semi-finals. Now we're about to get into the finals, and we're going to start with the women's final. And we've got 3 French riders and 1 Swiss rider, Elena Langweiler being the Swiss revelation. Let's look at our 4. We've got Lauriane Nolot, the reigning world champion on match point. She's already got 2 points to her name. Poema Newland from France on 1 point. Jessie Catman through from the semi-final, also from France, and Elena Langweiler from Switzerland has also fought her way through to the final from her side of the semi-final draw. So will Langweiler, having done some giant killing already today, beaten the 6-time world champion Daniela Moroz, will she be able to beat the reigning world champion Lauriane Nolot and the rest of the French riders? What do you think, Jimmy? I mean, I think the French are going to be too strong. I'm going to say it.
The French have been pretty dominant all week, but I mean, Elena's semi-finals were so impressive that I literally couldn't call it. Yeah, she could still surprise us. What do you reckon, Tony?
I'm thinking it's not over till they all come out standing on the podium, and really hoping for the best for all of them. I do hope to see some controversy. A lot of fun racing and sportsmanship behavior for all of them. I've really enjoyed the fact that there's been no protests or anything, and all of the guys have been really giving respect to the others. But here for the girls, as much as I like the French and I like the Swiss, they're all really good, and as we saw, anything can happen.
So, Jimmy, can you identify who's who with these colour of kites?
I think on the all-black ozone is Poema Newland, and it looks like Elena Langweiler again doing something different from the others, sticking to that 11 square metre fly surfer VMG there, whilst all of the others are on their black ozone 9 metres. It worked for her in the other semis, so she's obviously wanted to stick to that strategy. She can hold it upwind, and it is a weapon on the downwind. Oh, apologies, that is Jessie on that all-black ozone. And then that's Poema, you can see, with her pink board, black kite, and then Lauriane Nolot in that yellow bib, black ozone as well.
All 4 going for a starboard tack start, so a conventional start. I'm surprised there are no takers for the port tack. But having said that, the left of the course does seem to be paying, and we saw Valentin Bontas make that pay in the previous race. Even though he didn't win the race, the left looks a little bit stronger.
For sure, he definitely knew something was up, but made some mistakes during the race. So we'll see now from the girls. They're really blocking Elena out. 4, 3, 2. Jessie with a nice start there. Just manages to get out. Let's see if she can get the height and not allow the other girls to tag. Look at Lolo back in her position, full speed going. And this is what we call a French final.
3 out of the 4 are French, the other one Swiss. And this is Lauriane Nolot, the reigning world champion. She won the European title 2 years ago. She missed the event last year, so that went to Ellie Aldridge from Great Britain, but Ellie Aldridge didn't make it through to the final. She missed out earlier on in her semi-final. And Lauriane Nolot also in a battle with Jessie Catman and Poema Newland to prove that she is the one that deserves to go to Paris 2024 and represent France. So there's a selection battle going on here between these 3 French riders.
And she has successfully tacked and crossed the others. She's doing what she does best. We've seen this before. Exceptional speed, firing off the pin and tacking and crossing the rest of the fleet. She's got a good lead on now. Really good speed. All of the others just really pushing, seeing what they can do.
So if Lauriane Nolot wins this race, she wins the European title. And at the moment, she's got a different gear compared with the other 3 riders. So at the moment, it's all going the way of the yellow bib on the left of your picture.
That is true, but there's still downwind, 2 downwinds and another upwind to go, and anything can happen till then.
Let's see how they're gonna be judging the ley lines. Poema not in the best position there, but we do know that she's got another bullet already to her name. The 11 meter is not really performing on the upwind, but we have to see, and we'll see what it will do on the downwind. What I'm thinking is it will be a different story.
Jessie Campman looking good on the right. Looks like she's got good height, but it's Lauriane Nalot who's the first attack. Jessie Campman.
Whoa! Massive front stall for Poema Newland. That is catastrophic.
So Poema Newland currently out of this. It's Elena Langviller who goes round in third behind Jessie Campman, who now gets down the inside of Lauriane Nalot, and it looks like Jessie Campman has got on level terms, maybe even getting ahead of Lauriane Nalot. And meanwhile, disaster for Poema Newland, not able to get that kite back up in the sky.
But that was an incredible rounding from Jessie Campman. Really, really good stuff. She knows how to overtake. I don't think many people have overtaken Lauriane Nalot before. Oh, there we see it again. Poor Poema, absolutely gutting kite crash for her. But can Jessie keep these finals alive? If she wins this one, then we'll see more finals today. Very, very good downwind speed from Jessie here. That is a really strong lead, and that lead is getting bigger, I would say, Andy.
Yes, it looks like Jessie Campman's got another gear downhill, and maybe this is these different kites, maybe that changes the game a little bit, and maybe Jessie Campman feels a little bit more comfortable on these small kites.
Jessie Campman holding on to this lead, and I just want to remind everyone that it was the...
Too high on the ley line, maybe.
Oh, no.
Definitely very high on the ley line.
Got away with it, but that was dodgy moments for all of them. Campman leading, and is it Langveiler is now into second, and Lauriane Nalot back in third. So a terrible run for Lauriane Nalot.
I think Lauriane is definitely finding the speed of Jessie downwind, and also the kite that Elena's on hard to keep up with, but she's a solid upwind rider, so it could all still change. Jessie looking really strong in the front here, going for that attack now.
Jessie Campman leading, and Jessie Campman one of the qualifiers from the semi-finals, so she needs to win 3 races to win the European title, and so far so good for the French rider, who was out with injury for 5 months, only came back in to actual kiting in January, and seems to have come back stronger than she ever was before.
Completely, I absolutely agree. I think she's surprised herself, and she's showing us what she's made of out here. She's one of the most determined people I have ever met, and apparently one of the fastest too. She's really, really sending it out there.
But Elena Langveiler, Tony Vodicek earlier said just how fast she was downwind with this fly surfer kite. And will Langveiler be able to close in on Campman on the final run? And indeed, what will Lauriane Nalot be able to do on this next run?
We can see Poema's kite in the background. They're trying to relaunch it. All of these girls just avoiding it coming into that attack. Elena, yeah, great height from Elena upwind. Is it enough for her to overtake Jessie?
I think it even might be, if Jessie has gotten the timing of the attack correctly. It might not be high enough for Elena, but we'll see now.
It looks like the ley line judgment of Jessie Campman's a little bit better, so Campman just stays ahead, and it's struggling for Elena Langveiler just to get around and avoid hitting the mark. So advantage back to Campman, but now will the extra horsepower of Langveiler manage to get her past Campman on the final downwind?
It is going to be interesting to see now what happens, but we need to understand that Jessie was in the right position there. She was the one determining when to tag, so it was very impressive from her for judging it correctly for herself, and so just enough that Elena had to pump up and didn't make the point clearly.
And this depth that Jessie has downwind is extraordinary. She looks like she's on an 11 meter, even though it's a 9. Going for that jibe now, she is cool and collected and looking really comfortable at those high speeds. the 9 meter is definitely twitchy. It's hard to ride downwind, but she's really in control of it.
So this race on smaller ozone kites, which we don't see very often. I don't remember the last time I've seen ozones being used at this level of competition. It doesn't happen very often. This seems to be changing the pecking order.
100%, yes, definitely keeping things interesting. Jessie going into that final reach. She just needs to keep it cool, stay on the foil.
Jessie Campman looking increasingly like she's going to put her first race win on the board. She won through from the semi-finals and she managed to overtake Lauriane Nalot, the reigning world champion, on the first run downwind. She's got incredible downwind speed. And Jessie Campman puts her first win on the board in these finals at the European Championships, followed by Elena Lengvila and Lauriane Nalot a distant third, whilst Poema Newland, with that crash earlier, not able to finish this race. So well done, Jessie Campman. And
incredible scenes.
A quick break. We'll get back to you shortly. Now, Jimmy, you think back to the start of that women's race and Lauriane Nalot showing an extra click of speed upwind, and I was starting to think that was going to be a one-race final, and I was proved totally wrong because Jessie Campman just had an extra click of speed downwind, and it is actually looking really dangerous in these conditions.
I think it's a day for the downwind. That is where we are seeing all of these switch-ups happen, and I would typically say like that was definitely like the Lauriane that we know and we've seen for the last few years, just punching out ahead, and usually once she has a lead she really holds on to it and extends it, and I never would have guessed going into today that we would see what we did just then. Not just Jessie overtaking, but Elena as well, and both of them doing a pretty convincing race out there.
Absolutely amazing. So Lauriane Nalot, the reigning world champion, still on match point. But if Jessie Campman can win another, then that would put her on match point. Meanwhile, we got 2:15 to the start of our first men's race, and we're going to talk about some names that we haven't talked about too much, but I'm sure we will be in the coming minutes. Not least our reigning world champion from Singapore, Max Mader, who's absolutely dominated proceedings so far this week, but he's still got some work to do because that's the nature of the medal series. So Axel Mazzella also has had a great week, recently back from injury. The Frenchman going extremely well. And then our two semi-finalists, Riccardo Pianozzi and Bruno Lobo, who have just come through from their semi-final battles this morning. But Max Mader, if anyone's going to see this out in one race, in a one-race final, it would have to be Max Mader. I wonder, having seen so much uncertainty in previous races, I'm sure Max Mader's not taking anything for granted.
Absolutely. I think it's one of those things, you can control the controllables, but there is a lot of uncontrollables going on out there. But knowing him, he's very good. He's usually on these finals days, he goes out a little bit early and he just watches every single race. He takes it all in, and so that he can be prepared as possible for his race. And we typically see the guys coming up through the semi-finals, it's almost like a kind of practice run for that finals. They feel a little bit more comfortable. They know what's going on out there. Whereas for the guys who've gone straight through to the finals, it's their first race of the day. So they're feeling a little bit rusty. They haven't had a warm-up. And yeah, we'll see how that affects Max.
It's just so hard to doubt the power of Max Mader. But Tony Wojciech, you've had a lot of battles with Max Mader over the years. You managed to beat Max in the 2022 World Championships. He managed to beat you in the 2023 World Championships. You know this guy better than almost anybody. He's hard to bet against, isn't he? But we'll see. With 10 seconds to go, we've got Max Mader, Bruno Lobo, Axel Mazzella, Riccardo Pianozzi just about to cross the line into the power zone. Max Mader pretty late off the line. Is Max just trying to rely on his speed? That was a very conservative start by Mader.
Didn't look the best, but he knows how to get off the line. Bruno with a crash.
You can see how much those ventilations affect you. Bruno with a good start, and then boom, one ventilation sets you back. But it's Axel Mazzella with some really good speed on the left-hand side of our screen. Now on the top right-hand, he's in the blue bib. Meanwhile, Maximilian made it in that golden bib in the middle, looking really strong there. Bruno Lobo going for that first tack, ducking the other guys. And we can see Axel Mazzella tacking now. Can he cross Max? No, he just goes underneath. Max tacking to cover him. It's going to be a close one. What a lineup. We've got some of the greatest names in kiting here.
We absolutely do. And Max Mader looking good in the yellow bib, but being pushed hard by Axel Mazzella in the blue bib.
He cannot miss a beat here. He definitely said it's not easy winning these races now. The level is so high. You have to give it absolutely everything out here, especially in conditions like these. Riccardo Pianozzi looking strong there.
Riccardo Pianozzi.
Axel Mazzella in the middle there. He's going to make that tack into the windward really hard for Max, I think. I don't know what will be going through Max's head. He just needs to push a little bit more, and then he can squeeze in that attack, and he'll be away.
Max Mader, winner of this title 2 years ago in Greece. He was absent from the event last year because he was at the Asian Games, an event that he won. A simultaneous tack.
Way too late tack from Ricky, giving Max all the time he needed and space. That's a wrap, boys.
That's a wrap. That's what we call a commentator's curse, Tony Vodicek. There's another 3 legs of this 2-lap race to go, and I don't think it's a wrap yet. If anyone is going to see this out in one race, it would be Max Mader. But look, he's being pushed hard now by Axel Mazzella. Mader, and then Mazzella, then Pianozzi, then Lobo at the back.
Max keeping an eye on when Axel's tacking. You can see him always looking around, checking the competitors behind him, jibing when they jibe so he can keep them close and keep them behind him. But Axel Mazzella, oh my goodness, look at the speed.
Well, he might as well push hard. He can't afford for Mader to win this race.
This is an insane battle between these guys. Axel Mazzella's recovering from injury earlier this year, but you'd never know it. He's pushing like he's the fastest he's ever been.
3 pretty much simultaneous jibes between Mader, Mazzella and Pianozzi. Slightly early on the lay line, but it's okay. Mader goes round safely, followed by Pianozzi. A bit of a splashdown for
Axel.
But followed by Axel, then Pianozzi with a bit of a splashdown.
Got a nice surrounding around the boy. He's got the height. He's covering Axel in the back. He's in a great position to be at.
I think Max will be loving this. I think in Gold Fleet we saw him have really big leads, and as you said, Tony, he was alone out in front. He had no one to race with, but this is a true battle. This is what he's been waiting for, the final showdown.
Sailing on the 11 square metre, we don't often see them using kites of this size. These are pretty much the smallest we ever see being used by the top men. Simultaneous tacks by the front 3 by Mader, Mazzella and Pianozzi. Mader looking more and more comfortable, and if anything, Pianozzi is closing up. It looks like Pianozzi might be overtaking Mazzella for second.
He's still in the game. All 3 of these guys are so close. This is going to come down right to the very last second. Pianozzi pushing hard, last year's European champion, showing us that he wants that title again. Can he do it? Max has got a lot on to keep these guys behind him. Oh, the crash from Riccardo Pianozzi. He's back on the foil. Can he bring it back?
Critical moments.
Yeah, the pressure's on all of them. He's lost everything he's had. Well, Bruno, we do not know where he's at.
Max Mader going into his potentially last tack of the championship if he can just keep this together. Max Mader only needs to win this race as he bears away around the top mark. The 17-year-old from Singapore, so mature.
He's got a bit more breathing room now, but he cannot breathe. He still has the rest of this downwind and the final reach to do.
Mader keeping it together. Just a quick glance over his shoulder just to see where Mazzella and Pianozzi are, but if he just keeps it together for this final rundown leg and the reach to the finish, then it's all going to be good for Max Mader looking to win back the European title. Max Mader on
incredible speeds and beautifully controlled jibes as well. He's only got one more jibe in between him and that title. Can he do it?
Here comes the final jibe.
Right, Ricardo and Axel, they're very close. Ricardo already finishing jibe. Let's see if he can get under Axel. They're close.
Well, after a whole afternoon of uncertainty, so many semi-finals and finals in the balance, Max Mader comes out. He needs to win a race. That's exactly what he does. He wins his first and only race of the afternoon, and Max Mader becomes European champion of 2024. And there's the characteristic celebration of Max Mader, a little punch of the fist, and the 17-year-old from Singapore wins yet another title. The best in the world right now. Tony Vodicek, it's up to you and others to disprove that. He is the man of the moment.
At the moment he is. I've been training hard as well, so yeah.
We'll see what you can do this summer.
Together soon. I'm still waiting for new kites, but when they arrive, I'm full and ready on.
Max Mader.
What a week for Max. He has shown us such a dominant performance that we're pretty used to seeing at this point. But I have to say, that final was one of the closest that I have seen. I think he had to give it everything. Usually there's a little bit more breathing room for him, but he gave it everything. And he showed us the classic Maximilian Mader race perfection.
You sometimes wonder if Max Mader is holding back an extra gear, but I think that Mazzella and Pianozzi pushed hard enough that we saw the real Mader performance. And there we see it. Max Mader confirmed for the gold medal. Axel Mazzella takes the silver for France. And last year's the now outgoing European champion still takes bronze. So a bronze for Riccardo Pianozzi and Italy.
There we have his caddy, Daniel, taking his foil there. Daniel's had a big week as well, doing some incredible kite changes for Maximilian and sorting him out on the beach. It's a team effort here for Max.
Behind the mask, there will be some emotion. we can't see much of what Max Mader thinks right now. We'll go to a quick break and we'll be back to you shortly for the next women's finals race. 3 minutes to the start of the next women's finals race. This is the second race of the finals after we saw Jessie Campman from France win the first of those races. And on match point still, it's Lauriane Nolot, the reigning world champion, also from France. And Nolot, I wonder if she'll take inspiration from fellow world champion Max Mader and be telling herself, come on, pull your socks up. If Max Mader can win races out here, then maybe so can I. But of course, Poema Newland, the other French rider, will be saying, well, now it's my turn. I know I stuffed it up with the last one with that crash and I lost control of my kite. But then Elena Langweiler from Switzerland, she might be thinking, you know what, I think I had the speed in that last race. It could be me. This is a very open final that we're seeing in the women's.
Very open. I completely agree. I have no idea who could get this one. Looks good. Poema's back up out there. I wonder if she's on the same kite or if there's been any damage and she might have needed... Oh, no. She's on a different kite. That's a black VMG now. So Poema has had a kite change.
And do you think she wanted to or she had to because there was some damage?
I reckon she probably had to. The kite bow-tied, so that's a pretty nasty position for it to be in. And not always easy to recover. So, yeah, looks like Poema's had to change that.
So Poema Newland might be feeling a little bit compromised on her kite choice then if she's not got her first choice kite out there.
Potentially, but I think she's got a lot to prove. After that race, she'll be so frustrated. So she will be giving it everything in this one, as I'm sure all of them will be.
And there is our race committee boat with 2 minutes 30 to go to the second race of the finals in the women. We've just... There we have it. Lauriane Nolot still on match point. The French world champion looking to add the European title to her roster with Jessie Campman, winner of a race earlier. Poema Newland in third. And then our other semi-finalists along with Jessie Campman, Elena Langweiler, through from the semi-finals, yet to put a point on the board in the finals, but the Swiss rider certainly showing the speed to do so.
She's still on the bigger 11-meter kite, so see if that's the better choice or her choice, and if it's gonna pay out or not. I probably don't think she'd have enough time now to go change it, but yeah, she's gotta deal with what she's got, and I think it's ready for her.
1 minute 30 to go. Lauriane Nolot, winner of the European title in the past in 2022. She was absent last year, taking a bit of time out, but this is one she's really keen to win, not just because of the European title, but she has to show that she is still the top French rider compared with the other two on this racetrack, Jessie Campman and Poema Newland, because this is a really close battle for Olympic selection and only one of them gets to go. 50 seconds to go.
Looks like Lauriane Nolot is lining up for that port start, and the other three are going for a starboard start there.
That's pretty unusual, isn't it?
That is unusual.
So Nolot looking to go on her own.
Brave move from Lauriane.
And here come the other three, Campman, Newland and Langweiler. And on your right of screen with the yellow bib, there's Lauriane Nolot looking to go out to the right-hand side of the course all by herself. 10 seconds to go. Nolot's going to pass behind. She's going to wait for the other three to start on starboard because they have right away. No, she's not. Is she really going to go ahead of them?
Oh my!
Nolot looking to go ahead, so she's gone for the brave move. And Nolot's caught the other three asleep. What an amazing start by Lauriane Nolot to see the port tack option and to cross clean ahead of the rest. And what an amazingly brave move. I didn't think Lauriane Nolot would have to take those kind of risks, but in the end, she made it look easy.
She obviously felt like she had to. She has gone for it.
As you say, maybe she does. Maybe she feels disadvantaged with this ozone kite. She's not used to racing in this much breeze on these kind of kites, and maybe she doesn't feel like she's got the legs.
Exactly. I think that race before has definitely shaken her, and so she's just giving it everything she's got. She obviously thinks it's the right decision. and she executed it very well. We can see it's a clear start there, so hats off to you, Lorian. Very good stuff. Meanwhile, with these other three, we've got Elena Lengweiler looking good out there, going for the tack, holding these other girls out.
So there's Lorianne Nalot on the far side. She goes for her tack. She obviously thinks she's on the lay line. She can't afford to misjudge the lay line. You don't want to do extra tacks if you can help it. So Lorianne Nalot will find out shortly if she's judged this lay line correctly.
Seems a little bit early for me, but I might be wrong.
There might sometimes be a better decision to make more tacks, to go with the wind. If the wind is not just shifty, but like turning full on, you see, and then she's gaining the gains. In sailing, they make many tacks during one race just for those little gains. And it looks like right now this might have even paid off.
Wow, amazing. So two unusual moves that we've seen made by Lorianne Nalot, and they've been absolutely fantastic decisions in both cases.
And that has put her in first, coming round this windward mark now with a nice little lead there. Elena Lengweiler in second, the rider from Switzerland. And the other two French girls, we've got Poema Newland and Jessie Campman coming round in third and fourth at the minute. But Lorianne Nalot looking strong, really good depth out of that windward mark. Elena Lengweiler just inching down, but she can't block Lorianne from the jibe just yet.
I think Lorianne Nalot had to jibe when she did.
It's gonna be dangerous. Are they gonna be blocked? Can she go? Was she clear? We do not know. What
looks like
there.
I think Elena Lengweiler got away with that, maybe. But it's really close. This is an excellently executed race by Lorianne Nalot. It's not just about her raw speed. Nalot tactically is sailing absolutely fantastically because she knows that she's not the fastest out there. So she's got to pull out all the stops to win this race.
I completely agree. I think this has really brought out the best in Lorianne and her racing. She's had to pull out all the stops.
And Nalot knows that Lengweiler is closing in on her on the downwind legs, but she's managed to survive for the first of the two downwind legs. Now she's got to see if she can hold on upwind because Lengweiler is very fast upwind as well. Bit of a splash down at the back for Poema Newland.
Jess is beautiful rounding across the mark. Might even block Elena from tacking. Can she get enough speed to block Lorianne as well?
Lorianne Nalot, a brilliantly executed race so far, but she's losing a little bit of windward gauge compared with the others. It's looking a little bit dangerous for Lorianne Nalot right now.
Yeah, the other two, we've got Jessie Campman and Elena Lengweiler making it difficult for her. Oh, can she make this tack and cross? That looks very close on the other two. Will there be a protest there? I don't know. That looks pretty tight.
We're seeing this upwind and downwind. Nalot is having to jibe earlier than she wants to. She's having to tack earlier than she wants to. And look at Lengweiler. She's just got a little bit more height. At the bottom of your screen, the green bib just going a little bit higher and faster than Nalot. Nolo's got a lot on her plate to win this race right now. This is not straightforward for the world champion.
Absolutely, this is not easy for her. I have never seen this before in a final with Lorianne.
No, you see Nolo in the lead and you just expect her to stretch away and it will be job done, but it's not like that. She's used to being the hunted, and well, she is the hunted this time.
And she's just managed to make that work, still holding on to that lead.
Now
One more windward mark.
One more windward mark, but look at the chasing pack. There's three breathing down her neck, and all of them are showing signs of being faster than Nolo on the downwind. So Nolo's probably going to have to jibe earlier again before it's too late for her. Somehow Lengweiler has dropped to the back. It's Jessie Campman who's starting to look dangerous on Laurie and Nolo now.
Jessie Campman on the hunt right now.
It does look like she is blocked, but Jessie or Poema jumping out. Jessie jibing, letting Lorianne jibe because she was not allowed to. Jessie might even be able to cover her head. Has she pushed her out of the lane line enough? We'll see that soon. We might have a battle of the buoy. Who's gonna get it? Who's gonna be inside it first?
Jessie Campman going a little bit faster, 2 knots faster downwind. So Campman has got to pull out all the stops now to stop Lorianne Nolot winning this race and winning the European title. And it's neck and neck between these two French riders. And the other French rider, Newland and Lengville, are not far behind. One of the biggest pressure jibes of her career. Lorianne Nolot gets round the bottom mark just ahead of Jessie Campman. She's going to have to push all the way. There's no backing off. Campman is going to push, and Lorianne Nolot is forced to get that kite into the power zone and push all the way across to the finish. Campman looking to overtake. Is it going to be enough, or is Lorianne Nolot going to take this race win? It's just enough for Lorianne Nolot to win that race and take the European title, but nothing was certain until the very end. Pushed all the way by Jessie Campman, back from injury, and now back to her very best. But Lorianne Nolot, the world champion, adds the European title to her cabinet.
What a show. That was incredibly close at the end there. I've never seen anything like it between these girls. Wow.
Gold, silver, bronze go to France, to Lorianne Nolot, Jessie Campman, Poema Newland, and an amazing week for Elena Lengville, finishing 4th. What an amazing performance by her. But congratulations to Lorianne Nolot, who was not the fastest out there, but tactically sailed an absolutely fantastic race.
What a race. Well done, Lorianne.
So shortly we're going to be going to join them on the beach, and hopefully we'll get an interview directly with our new European champions. That's Lorianne Nolot for the women and Max Mader for the men. We'll go to a quick break. We'll be back to you shortly.
DR5, built to win.
Meet the R1 V4, our highest performance Olympic and IKA registered racing machine.
Anyone else? We have Max here.
I think I should stay in the studio.
Isn't Dina supposed to keep Max? You're on.
So we're just waiting for the riders to come back to the beach. We can see Loria just there. Everybody else has just landed their kites.
Marcus.
Here she is, the 2024 European champion. Coming into the beach just now. So she's just had the race of her life, one of the craziest battles I think that we have ever seen. I don't remember the last time we've seen a final in these strong wind conditions, and they were the conditions for her. Here we have her right now.
Bravo. Oh my days, you're absolutely hero. Oh, how do you feel? European champion at 2024.
So dead. Well, the girls are pushing so much. I think it's been a while. I haven't pushed that much, to be honest. Well, I definitely need to work a bit on my downwind because Jessie was always catching up, and I was like, and I knew like the upwind after it was kind of okay, but wow, it was really tight, huh?
That was so tight. It was
really great
one of the most exciting races I've ever seen in my life, down to the final reach.
Yeah, I think with the Frenchie we succeeded to like push the women like kite foil fleet a step forward, and I think it's really nice, and I hope like all the girls are going to join us like for future races like that, because wow, it's so exciting.
So cool.
Like,
yeah, proud day for France.
To push yourself like till the limit of the limit. It's wow, really nice.
And talk to me about that start as well. Did you plan to do that kind of double tap?
Actually, yeah, I think it's been 2 hours and something we're on the water. And I don't know why, since the beginning, I wanted to go on the right side, but I thought it wasn't really working. And after the first race that Jessie won, I was like, I want to do something else and change. And I like test the start line, and I saw that the port was like paying off, like not paying off, but was working. And so I was like, I'm gonna just try and we'll see. And it paid off, so yeah, I'm really happy.
And did you think you'd cross the others? How were you feeling as you made that cross?
When I saw that they were fighting for the committee, I was like, oh yeah, for sure, I'm going to cross easily. So yeah, it was nice. Really nice. It's always quite nice when you succeed to do a port like above the fleet. You're like, yeah, nice. I'm in front.
What a way to close out the championship.
Well done,
congratulations.
Wow, so hard today.
Hard fought and well deserved, huh?
Yeah. Oh, the girls, they're too fast, honestly.
Lorianne, congratulations. Great to see. Max, you were the only one that made anything straightforward today. Watching all those semi-finals, were you getting a little bit concerned that this was not a normal day? We're seeing a lot of ozones, a lot of crashes. This was not a normal day, so was it getting to you at all?
It was not a normal day by a long shot. That's a very astute observation. No, it was more than anything, I got very excited because that meant that it was technical, it was difficult, and it was fun racing for sure, because it meant that things are not set in stone and there's no one set strategy. There are mistakes that can happen, and there's a higher risk in everything involved. So I must say that I was getting excited watching all of the racing going on.
And I sometimes wonder if there's a spare gear that we don't see, but I think Axel Mazzella and Riccardo Pianozzi brought out the best of Max Mader. You weren't leaving anything on the table today.
No, that's right. I did not leave anything on the table. Neither can I think at all throughout the whole regatta.
You know, won all the races, and it's like, yeah, it was tough, hard work.
All right, so yeah, Lorianne thinks you had it easy this week, but you sailed fantastically well. If we didn't have a medal series, you wouldn't have even had to have got out of bed today. You know, you would have won this by a country mile, but the nature of the medal series means that nothing is set in stone. You do have to work for it on the final day. You made it look relatively easy compared with everyone else, but I know nothing comes easy in this sport.
Yes, that's right, Andy. I think that this is really what it's all about for me. You know, the racing, the excitement, the tension, the difficulty, and what that means to all the sailors, because we enjoy it because it's hard. We enjoy it because, you know, we're here to compete and it's for the sport.
I just want to bring Lorianne back because I want to bring both of our champions in. Lorianne, come back!
We miss you!
And Jimmy, come on. We're going to close out the show. We've got our two reigning world champions now winning the European titles. And Max Mader, you know that you're going to the games. Lorianne Nolot, you still don't know that you're going to the games. You've done everything you can, but wow, those other French girls are making you work for this selection, aren't they?
Yeah, but actually I think it's really nice. Like, we still don't know who is going, but I think like whoever will go, I think the French are on fire at the moment, and I think for sure we will probably succeed to have a medal at the games. I mean, let's hope so.
Lauriane Nelot, Max made it. Congratulations to you. From Jimmy Craythorne, from Tony Vodicek, our guest commentator, from all the crew, from myself, Andy Rice, thank you so much. It's been a great week in Mar Menor. I hope you've enjoyed watching. We've got a lot more competition coming up this season. We got Princess Sophia in Parma in a couple of weeks' time. We've got the Last Chance Regatta in the south of France in April. And then we've got the Formula Kite World Championships also in the south of France. And then the Olympic Games, Paris 2024, where we're going to see Max Mader. Maybe we'll see Lauriane Nelot there, but we know we're going to see a lot of action in the kites. This is the biggest season so far, and we've just seen the end of our first big event of the 2024 season.
To my parents.
Yes, and yes.
Hello, Daddy. Hello, Mommy.
There we have it. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon on the Formula Kite circuit.